Hey, hello everyone. Can you hear me? It's been a long time. Wait, what? Okay, so the issue is I have my stream open in another tab somewhere. I don't know what tab. Oh, hi Hora. It's been a long.
Hello, Saya. It's good to see you.
Right now I'm trying to troubleshoot an issue I have, and it's that I have the stream open on two different tabs, but I can't find the other tab.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Good luck finding it. Let me hop into your chat.
Oh, I found it. Okay, so on the table for us first, winners round 1, Axum Jinx versus Shadow.
Oh, okay. That'll be fun.
Ooh, I did not fix the bracket link thing. Should work now. So not every match will be streamed. The ones that like say they'll be streamed on StarGG will be streamed pretty much.
Oh, looks like I am up against Shusai now. I don't think I fought that person before.
Yeah, I do not recognize their name. I'll have to see. Patiently waiting for Shadow here.
Oh, so that's the only that's the only one in round 1 that'll be streamed?
I think maybe we stream your game.
Oh. Oh, okay. Then I will not play yet, if that is the case. Did I not check in? Hold up a sec.
There's a chance Shadow is not here, so I shoot.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, I have to press the check-in button. Okay.
Well, yeah, I'll fix that.
Oh, yeah, that's the 5.
Turn 5. Well, you're ready to go whenever. Just pause a little bit on the map selection screen so I can play with the music.
Oh, okay.
Right, and good luck. I'll go with random, I guess.
Alright. Although it could very well be the Worms Jewel Box.
Definitely could.
Oh, AC says it only lets you report 3 matches.
No. He'll let you report more if it's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Alright, I will go ahead now. Good luck, Shusai.
Running into Horai versus Shusai, Sun versus Hood, and this is a matchup we've seen quite a lot. Red Hood, quite a popular character among newer players due to immediate power, but Horai is no stranger to playing against Red Hood. And long-range Red Hood, definitely not the type of character you want to play against someone who is good at dodging, because that pressure just falls apart at the longer ranges. And, well, this was quite possibly not the greatest game to stream. It's a bit lopsided in terms of seeds. Shusai trying their hardest, putting up some real pressure now, no longer just hanging back, trying to get in there. But the issue is Horai has 4 hearts to 1 at this point, and is just slowly using the diamonds, and that'll be the first card taken. As we head into the second card, I will have to do something because the death sentence right now is getting trapped behind those waffle walls, being forced to question yourself, and when you slow down like that, you will get hit by something. And Horai just knowing that, keeping Shusai out, using the vanish, but unable to really get anything as Horai once again forces Shusai away and slowly drains the hearts. So, I do have to say, Shusai, although this was pretty one-sided this first game, in the middle of like the first card, definitely showed a little bit of realizing that, oh, you have to go in here. You can't just hang back. I went back to hanging back later, but still, there was something there. Right now, Shusai chasing a little bit, but Horai adapting, just walking away with the diamond dash, and is once again looking a little grim, especially with that false finish. But again, Shusai trying to work their way in, dodging the diamonds this time, but overall just unable to make it past both the waffles and the basics when used in succession. Right, and Shusai sitting at 1 hard away from a 0-2 deficit, trying to make something happen here. But once again, Horai just forcing Shusai away, using the diamonds over and over, and Shusai goes for a swap.
Ooh, alright. I will be sticking with Sun. I gotta say, it's been a while since we've seen a Red Hood in tournament, believe it or not. The Red Hood players have kind of retired.
Really?
Yeah, so it's a refreshing change of pace. Alright, you ready, Saya?
Yep.
Alright. Wait, I wonder what Shusai swapped to. I guess we'll find out.
Death Secret.
Ooh.
But the issue with depth is that depth is very hard to like pick up. Requires a very specific mindset, requires you to be very patient with your gameplay, and this time trying to go for the shotguns against the diamonds, but the diamonds are much faster. And that was a very fast card coming out from Horai. And yeah, unfortunately, this is not the easiest pick against an experienced Sun, because if you get caught up in the basic and you press a button, well, say goodbye to your hearts. Again, using the Jellycat, but once again, you have to be so confident in your movement with a slower character, especially one with so many slowdowns, slowly getting pushed to the corner, and with one heart left, or I just needs anything, and those diamonds may do it along with the waffles, and that is it.
Good games, Jusai.
Okay, and it looks like we're gonna get Zorn Q up next.
Advertise the stream in a couple places.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, are we not gonna watch Jinx versus Shadowpelt?
Oh, we could.
Oh, okay. Oh, Shusai already reported the score, or you did.
I did.
Oh, okay.
I have to do it.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, tell me about Axum Jinx, because I haven't been around for Axum Jinx's existence pretty much.
Oh, okay. So, you know how, like, every generation we get, like, some waves of new players, and a lot of them don't end up sticking around, but a few that do end up getting really good? Axum Jinx is that player.
Alright.
Really good Frost player. Actually practices the game a lot and has been progressively getting stronger, able to put up a fight against some of the more skilled regulars, in fact.
Hey, and looking good so far against Shadowpelt, not getting hit randomly. The defense is pretty solid and just slowing the game down to a snail's pace. Overall though, Shadow's gonna have to find something, because they can't just rely on like the basic laser. They can't just go in either, because Axum Jinx will just roll out. So it looks like they're a little lost here. Oh, but no, I thought the roll would happen, but just gets hit by the Novi Fire.
Yeah. Shadowpelt has been practicing with some diving strategies against Frost lately, just trying to dive in and do some close range attacks. It's really hard against Frost, but if Worms could get good at it, I think it's a really good option in this otherwise slow matchup that's rather difficult for Worm.
Okay, and gets a hit here, has to dodge all of the basic, and once again, a lot of things change in Maiden and Spell, but one thing remains the same, and it's just Frost's focus basic, and how people
That
deal
is
with
true.
it. First game going to Axum Jinx very quickly. Shadow will have to adapt some way, somehow.
Oh yeah, Jinx and Shadowpelt have fought each other a fair number of times in the Maiden and Spell tournament series.
Yeah, and it does seem like they would meet in losers. Maybe even meet in losers again after this. Probably not likely, because they'll probably end up on opposite sides of the losers bracket. But right now, Axum Jinx having a good time in this matchup. And what do you think Shadow needs to change here because right now it just seems like there's no answers coming out.
Well, one thing I see Shadow doing now that wasn't happening last game is actually putting on pressure from a long range. I know Shadow wants to get those close range hits as well, but a lot of the time Jinx was standing there dodging nothing, and that probably made it a lot easier for Jinx.
And Shadow once again going in, but that is not the Novi Fire you want and gets hit while trying to back out by the focus basic. So overall, Shadow Pelt needs to play more of the mid range. Really likes just not pressing any buttons trying to get in, but I feel like that just removes so many potential hit chances if you just don't press any buttons.
Yeah. Basic laser wide is always going to be a strong combo. Might not always get you hits, but every so often. So
Right.
another game for Jinx.
Yep, 2-0 so far, and when I'm looking at the bracket, it seems I'll have to ask people to report their characters once again because it is not happening despite my begging. Actually, no, Zorn did it. Zorn and Emerald Splash, my heroes.
Oh, yay.
Now to see if everyone else will do it too. Hoping. Maybe even praying. Although, while we wait, I do have an anecdote. I did not know you can make music turn on while tabbed out in Maiden and Spell.
Oh, interesting.
And no one ever told me that I was wrong when I complained that you couldn't do it.
Oh, I don't remember that. But I have made the music stay on when tabbed out just because of doing streams. Like I'll tab into my dashboard and such a lot.
I've been
So,
running Maiden and Spell tournaments this entire time without knowing about that option. It's so over.
oh.
Right now, Shadow Pelt.
Oh,
Ooh.
perfect sun parry.
That one, like, I can never get how hard it is to do because it's one day it seems like the easiest thing in the world, and the other day it seems like the hardest. I have no clue.
Oh yeah. I was trying to do it in some friendlies earlier, but it didn't end well.
I forgot to press the save replay button on that, so well, it's okay. There'll be more chances.
Wait, what's the save replay button?
I have replay tech.
Oh.
The replay is after the set. It will happen, and right now, yeah, Shadow Pelt, not a favorable matchup. You have to think goes for the parry now, gets a hit, but Maxim Jinx just needs one hit, and it should come fairly soon. Unless, right. There's the instant replay as Axum Jinx takes it 3-0 over Shadow.
Suppose that is that.
Well, okay, so next up we have QP versus Zorn. 3-0 Death versus OK. Death versus Sun. Versus Zorn, two people who have met quite a bit, I think, in the past, in the history of Maiden and Spell. Zorn does not appear to be here. What happened?
Oh. Oh, did J Feather versus Train end?
Yup.
Sounded like it did.
3-0, and you are up against J Feather.
Oh, I guess I should fight Jay now. Who is Train?
Train is from Omega Strikers.
Oh. Is that the V and
Yeah.
bracket? Okay.
Not the easiest name to see. But now we have QP versus Zorn as Horai plays a completely different set.
Alright. Well, as soon as Jay is here.
I miss back in the day when everyone would just load in without checking if I was ready. But we have QP, the Storm Beast versus Zorn, who is from Brazil. And everyone remembers that he is from Brazil. And he's also a very good Lich, yes. Hasn't like been as dominant as QP, but has always been a contender, but is playing a little bit like it is the older patch right now. Using the flower like that would have been fine, would have been perfectly safe with the lower cooldown, but with the cooldown back much higher, can't just do the same thing. But it's not all negative for Zorn right here. He gets a hit back while also getting hit while I was saying that, and Maintenance Spell is just such a difficult game to commentate because there's no break, there's no stop in the action. You just stuff just happens and you have to deal with it. Right now Zorn maneuvering through and manipulating QP's walls of charged basics, but gets caught while going for a melee attempt. Not the easiest thing in the world. Now a flash step coming up from QP, trying to layer the basics here and gets that last hit versus Zorn. Right, and the second card with QP in the lead here. So I do have to wonder if Zorn can bring this back, but QP's early snowball is so good because if Zorn can't get a lot of setup on both sides of the screen, QP will just run around it, set up the walls, set up the clones, and set up the layered basics just like that. Okay, and with one heart left in this game, Zorn will have to do something. And with the ping like this, you know that the wides are extra scary. Wides, even in like a theoretical offline ping scenario, coming out from the storm would be scary, but when network connection is thrown into the mix, it is absolutely fearful, and QP takes the first game. Both staying. Back in game we go. This time an aggressive flash from QP, moving in, and oh wow, what a perfect setup from QP. Set up the wall, and when Zorn did not have flower, just flash stepped, rushed in for the charge basic to plug up the gap. Absolutely flawless play coming out. And just to get the defensive plays too, dodging all of that. And now Zorn has to move carefully, and QP's the one getting caught with the movement on that glitch wide. Right? And once again, it is snowballed out of control in the favor of QP. Getting that card, and well, as well as Zorn is playing QP on another level at the moment. And right here too, making it so hard for Zorn to escape. Building a highlight reel even. These layered setups just mean that this game is going by in a flash. You know, sometimes I like to compare Storm to Smash Ultimate Sonic in a way, because both are really fast characters that have optimal playstyles that don't necessarily like involve rushdown, because you can use speed to just like maneuver around and slow down the game. And yeah, QP is doing that, but it's happening at such a rapid pace that it doesn't feel like it's slowing the game down that much. It just QP is calm, bold, efficient. Why did I say? I don't know. I fall apart when I'm alone on the mic. I need like Korai to get here soon, maybe Max even. But for now, Zorn is stuck in a unending layer of Storm setups. Manages to get out somehow. Finds the gap and now is within striking distance of this card. Uses the flower though, has to be super careful because there's no get out of jail free card at the moment. Oh, but there it is, and QP takes a 2-0 lead. What's extremely quiet? I'm extremely quiet? No way. Horai's okay, but okay, I'll fix it after when Horai comes back. Back in game. We're game 3. Why am I so quiet? I should not be that quiet. People always complain that I'm loud. I'll try to fix it. But right now, it is just a trade of blows. Both of them getting hit so much, but QP coming out ahead, and this time with Zorn set up a little centralized, finally gets that quick wide to patch it up a little bit, but so far is looking a little good for the side of QP once again. Zorn navigating the walls expertly though. Charging the flower, but is that what you want? You don't have a flower now, and QP wants to plug the top gap here. Trying to make it so that Zorn can't pass, but that massive flower is just a safe zone that QP can't maneuver into. Really good play by Zorn. We're seeing the return of the 2 flower playstyle, but in a different manner here. Although not having the defensive special, we'll have to dodge. Oh, does not get it in time. Okay, but Zorn still making it possible here. Has done it in the past, but right now QP a little too dominant. Has a lot of room to work with as the flowers dissipate. But once again, Zorn striking back 1 heart to 1. So close, but we'll have to see what happens as QP once again sets up the wall. Zorn used the flower, but an amazing basic takes the card for QP. 1 card away from moving into winner semis. And just a quick report from another winner's quarter, Zale playing the Red Hood 3-0 over Megu. Okay, but QP once again benefiting from the wide, and the Zorn trying to navigate, but a 2-heart deficit, and well, QP, that's a trade-off with Storm. Storm will just randomly run into a wide if you're not like completely careful, and when it's a tournament game, you know, that happens. QP just trying to set up the walls, trying to make it happen. But right now, Zorn is just staying all out. Just as I was about to say that Zorn is chilling over there. It is so difficult here. And that is it. QP 3-0 over Zorn. Right. Train right now unaware that a set exists at the moment. Well, it looks like Train has is well and truly DQ'd. Okay. Well, might as well start up Zale QP. Starting predictions for all 3 viewers who are in chat. Channel point predictions with Bestie Bucks for worthless internet points. Oh, it's
Hi, I'm back.
hi back. What happened in your set?
I managed to win 3-1. Wait, let me make a prediction. Hold up. Alright, QP, you're getting a few points. Oh, actually, I'll just predict.
Right, winner
I'll put-
semis Zale QP. Zale we have not seen in a hot minute, but decided to join the tournament last second and is now on in a 1 heart lead already versus QP.
Ooh. A 2-heart lead, in fact. A 3-heart lead, in fact.
Absolutely incredible. Shades of Frog even with the green hood. And just, I don't know, QP is unable to get anything going so far. Finally gets a little bit of the walling, but I suspect that Zale will just walk across very soon. And the Vanish, a long cooldown. Only some may say a little too long, maybe even a lot too long. But so far, Zale just not getting hit, and that's just one of the truths of Maiden spell. If you're good at dodging, you just won't get hit, and maybe that's very strong in the bullet hell game, you know? And Zale 4-0 QP in that first card. Once again, Zale starting off so dominantly. QP's gonna have to make something happen here. But right now, it is looking a little difficult for QP to get something started. Going for a little bit of the tap style, but once again, the tap style requires you to basically mentally mix the opponent, and that's not what's happening here. Zale just staying calm, not just dodging. That Illy practice pre-tournament really coming in clutch here. After playing Illy, the offense of other players may seem quite lacking. But it's not like QP's hopeless. Despite not getting a hit so far, is still trying basically everything, has shifted through at least 3 different playstyles so far in this first game alone, but none of it's working. 0 hearts taken.
Yeah, QP taking some hits, showing some rather good control over Storm, but just not able to score enough hits to make up for the hits that Zale can get.
That's an 8-0 flawless game from Zale, if I remember correctly, and that first card was also 4-0. Absolute domination right now. Although QP already off to an infinitely better start, getting a hit to start off this game. See what happens.
Oh, good hit by QP there. Went right around Zale.
Right now, I think overall, I am just unaware what changed between the first and the second game. I'm feeling a little lost here. I cannot provide analytics at all because QP is getting the hits, but it seems like nothing changed and Zale is still winning. So, although that is one thing that's changed. QP is just running around with the wide. Maybe that'll be the difference maker. It looks like Illy has 3-0'd Axum Jinx, and I'd be lying if I said that wasn't expected. We'll be fighting against Horai in the other winner semis after this one. Right now, QP Zale 3-3 in this card, but once again QP shifting through multiple styles, trying to utilize the wide and the tap basics, even a little bit of railgun to try and mix Zale up, but none of it's really happening here. None of it's proving to be the difference maker.
Ooh, unfortunate backup by Zale there. I don't see QP setting up as many walls as you'd usually see from QP. I'm guessing it's a little difficult against Red Hood. That was a nice hit though. Zale just waiting right on the clone for QP to charge a basic.
And QP just went for a melee there, but it didn't work out. Zale getting the hit first, and now one heart away from a 2-0 lead. Both players know what's at stake in this singular hit here. So slowly, not taking unnecessary risks until QP goes for an aggressive move and Zale doesn't flinch.
Yeah, it was a good comeback by Zale there.
Once again, starting off as usual, Zale in the lead, but I don't know, Horai. It's been a while, but the feeling is the same. That how do you commentate Maiden and Spell?
It's difficult. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you talk about, sometimes you talk about Genshin Impact.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good hit by QP there. Moved right down when it was necessary to get the hit. Oh, and I think that was a wide hit right as Zale vanished? That might have been some spectator weirdness, but
yeah,
that looked very
looked
unfortunate
like,
for
it
Zale.
looked like the Vanish startup got clipped, which isn't supposed to happen. Oh, and... Huh? What happened?
Looked like QP ran right up to Zale, right through the basic, and got a melee hit.
Well, see what happens in this card, I guess. QP in a pretty decent spot to take a game here, but Zale once again. Oh, but just clipped, trying to cross the two basics. Now, I don't know, Zale sitting back a lot, trying to almost looking like Zale is waiting for QP to arrive, which is massive departure from what we saw in the beginning. But I guess QP's defense has warmed up well enough so that Zale can't do the stuff that was working in the beginning. But one thing that is a universal constant is that Red Hood's wide will just like feel magnetic. It feels like no matter how good a player is, they'll get hit at least once by it just moving.
Yeah.
I had to fix auto DQ thing. Should be fine now.
Oh, by the way, I think I slightly misreported a score on my match with J Feather. It says I won the first game and J won the second, but it should be the other way around. Serious error, I know.
Fixed. It is very serious.
Thank you. Yeah, all good now. Oh, you can fix it that easily?
Yeah.
Here I was wondering what could be done. Ooh, 1-1, but QP gets hit at a crucial moment.
Now this is match point for Zale. He's gonna have to pull out all the stops to prevent a 3-0. And Stormwide definitely is one of them.
We're seeing a QP wall getting set up here.
Oh, and I thought Zale had an easy way out with Vanish. Had the Vanish cooldown as well, but getting clipped by Wide, and once again, that move coming in clutch for QP. Okay, but Zale not hitless now. Has one, and will look to turn that into an entire set win. Finds the gap in the wall as QP's trying to reset with the clone, but Vanish coming out from Zale, not clipped by the Wide before vanishing this time. Has to watch out for the melee, dodges 2 melee attempts, and as the walls close in, it gets harder and harder to dodge both players' attacks. But despite the character difference, Zale really keeping up with it. But not if the Wides have something to say about it. Zale doing the strategy of sitting on the clone a little bit, but with 1 heart left, we'll have to be extremely careful. Now with the Vanish burned, QP will look to set up a final wall to decide the game. Getting hit here isn't too bad because you'd use the invulnerability for a wall setup, but the clone disappears, and now Vanish is slowly returning for Zale. It will be back. It is back, and now QP has to get a little desperate here. Going for tap basics, going for some wide clips, going for the melee. An offensive Vanish coming out from Zale, but QP manages to secure it and take a game.
That was a real close one.
Clutch factor really there for QP at the very end. They'll punish for going for that offensive Vanish, but that offensive Vanish had to happen to make it so that it wasn't just both players spiraling to try and somehow out-dodge each other. I don't know. It just happens at the end.
Ooh, unfortunate.
Now that might be the turning point for QP. They're getting hit quite a bit now. Has to vanish out of that situation and gets meleeed.
Crazy how Storm can just follow Red Hood during the vanishes.
Storm is so fast. But Zale gets a bit of like a storybook Red Hood snipe there. Gets a hit with just basic. And now is trying to turn that into a game. But long range won't be able to hit QP too easily. Pretty trivial to dodge Red Hood at full screen. While QP trying to slowly lock Zale in. Zale, I feel, waiting for a gap. Doesn't need it, but vanishes to safety. And now, like, every time the clone resets and that situation happens, QP has 2 choices. You either tap or you hold. And a lot of time QP's just gone for tap to try and catch Zale off guard, but I don't really feel like that's working. Maybe it's better to just start up the walls immediately.
That's a good point.
But that time
That
the
tap
tap
works
basic
out.
was perfect. Now there's a little bit of a gap. Zale does not have the vanish though, and that is the sort of situation where that long vanish cooldown comes into play. Also, that is another reason why defensive special cooldowns are like the make and break of balance in this game. How fast can you set up that situation compared to how the cooldown is? Can completely swing a lot of matchups. Now with the Vanish burned, 2 hearts to 2, it really feels like Zale has to get a little desperate here. And that is such a bad spot to be in as Red Hood, as QP evens up the set 2-2.
Yeah, nice little flash step by QP there at the end too.
Oh, I think I know why I'm quiet. I turned my mic gain down. I should be better now, I think.
Well, I think you're a little louder.
Am I
All right,
louder?
Zale going with Sun.
Hey.
We'll see what chat says.
Right, and I think some would say this is a better matchup.
Maybe. I never know about this one. People always say it's Sun favored, but it might be Sun favored, but I have a lot of trouble with it. It is hard to avoid getting double hit when you get walled. It's hard to keep track of storm wides. It's hard to react to basic. Actually, it's kind of impossible to react to melee basic. You have to predict it.
And against QP, I can definitely see how hard it is because, well, Zale's trying to do a lot of long range stuff, but QP's just not getting hit. You know, the old, like, as I say that QP gets it, but like still, when Zale's getting walled, Zale's not really able to interrupt the wall. QP just dodges and keeps going.
Hello, tournament.
Hey, Max.
Max jump scare. Right now we are witnessing game 5 of QP versus Zale. QP on the Storm and Zale on the Sun, and is looking very bad for Zale at the moment.
Zale playing Sun? Wow, has Zale been playing only Sun?
He was
Oh.
playing Red Hood earlier.
And this one, it just QP just knows how to play versus Sun too well. Zale trying to squeeze between a gap between the 2 charge basics, but gets caught by the charge basic and gets meleeed as well. Right now QP in full control, but not all hope is lost. Zale gets a hit.
Ooh. Zale wasted that Dispel, though.
Ooh, and even
Nice
though
little
it's
fancy moves by Zale.
the 2 hearts to 2, Zale's gonna have to do something to disrupt these walls because the walls have had such a high success rate against this Sun.
Oh. Yeah, it's always hard to avoid that.
There's 1 heart left. QP seeks to take out Zale, but Zale also just needs 1 heart to continue in the tournament. Those diamonds aren't it, and QP manages to go in, but Zale does not get clipped by a wide. Playing very, very carefully. What did the spell? Oh, okay, the spell used. This is the last chance. Needs to make something happen here and gets clipped. QP takes it.
What a comeback by QP.
A full reverse sweep. And now we move on to Illy versus Horai.
Oh, okay.
All right, let me hop in game real quick. So I saw in the instant replay that Zale started off on Red Hood against QP.
Yep.
I wonder why. Did the switch occur because he started losing, or just kind of
Yeah.
at random?
He lost 2
Oh, okay.
games. on the Hood after winning 2 games on the Hood.
I see.
Hey, got the prediction. One step closer to VIP.
That one never gets sold.
Wow, this is the biggest lobby I've seen in a while. I wish I could have competed, but sadly did not have the time. Have you got a chance to watch Axum Jinx yet, Saya?
We did Axum Jinx versus Shadow. It was pretty dominant.
Axum Jinx is Maiden Spell's newest rising star. Was a participant in my, I think, 5th beginner tournament. Did not win, but did well, and has been on the rise ever since.
Oh, and unfortunately we won't be able to witness them versus J Feather because that set has already sailed.
What happened?
No, Jay and Axum Jinx are playing at the moment, so we can't catch that set.
Oh wait, when I checked earlier, J Feather and AC are both DQ'd. Did they
Yeah.
un-DQ?
Yeah. The days forgot to check in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Axum Jinx has very much impressed me. A very survival-focused player, I think.
Hey, look who's in chat, guys.
Hmm?
Someone exciting has shown up in chat.
Atchinson, long time no see.
Wow,
Yeah, hey,
Atchinson. I remember
Atchinson.
Atchinson used to be in every bracket.
Yeah, I remember Atchinson.
Alright, you're on the left, right?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Are you ready yet?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
In all seriousness, also hello, Mino. Good to see you.
Mino's
Alright.
also in the chat.
Alright, here we go. Can't believe I'm playing in front of Mino.
Okay, fine. I'll turn off auto DQ. I'll make it 100 minutes.
100 minutes. I didn't even know numbers went that high.
Alright, versus Illy, winner semis.
Alright, Sun versus Hood. The classic matchup. One Horai is probably very experienced in being a player from the old days.
And, well, Illy does not need an introduction. Illy just wins, but maybe today will be the day of Horai.
Yeah, I've talked a bit to Illy. Illy thinks that QP might be the best player in the world right now. I think that's just typical Illy humbleness, but you know, if Illy does win this set, we'll get to see, but has to get through Horai first.
I do think QP is one of those players that is like mega buffed by best of 5. QP is just great at adapting, and had the set versus Zale been best of 3, QP would have been the loser's bracket.
Actually, one of my best sets ever versus QP was a best of 5 where I actually started down 0-2 and barely lost the game 5. But I guess that's still a QP win in the best of 5. But as far as this matchup goes, the theory I've started to come to is that this matchup is all about center control. If you can comfortably sit in the middle, you're winning as both characters. Because if you're Hood, it means that your opponent is afraid of you and is going to have to kind of start to run around in circles, and Hood Basic, which is also wide, is very good at catching movement like that. And as Sun, if you can manage to stay in the center, that means the time that your projectiles and diamonds have to travel before your opponent is mashed against the wall is shorter, and that's also very good.
Right, but first card going to Illy, and so far, it just feels like both players are able to do their game plans, but it's just a difference of both these characters aren't really like checkmate type characters. It's just that if you can dodge both characters' mix more, you will be winning the cards pretty much.
Yeah, it's definitely a matchup where dodging skill matters a lot more than smart positioning for checkmates. But I do think from Sun's side, you do have near checkmates, especially at endgame. So I do think if you make it that far, Sun is slightly favored. But Illy likes to play very aggressively. I doubt we'll see any camping of that sort.
Yeah, Illy will just go in on characters where you're disadvantaged when you go in.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But dodging those knives, wow. Crazy movement from Horai.
And
oh, sorry, I was speaking as if Illy was Sun, because Illy always plays Blue Sun. Illy is actually Hood, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind
But
of.
Illy also
it's
goes
kind
in
of
as Red Hood.
lonely. But back, like way back, the majority of suns were default sun. But now, it
I
feels
think
like only the blue
it's just
suns
me.
remain.
I'm still default Sun. I don't play Blue Sun.
Well, you're not in this tournament. You don't count.
I'm not. Yeah. Last tournament I entered, I only got outplaced by Horai, Game Freak, and QP. But anyway, yeah, we see Illy continuing to go in and melee with Red Hood, which shouldn't even be possible. I don't know how Illy does it. It's just breaking the rules of maintenance spell.
Once again, standing near the edge of the spell, but not out of it. Maneuvering in the slow. And
Yeah. Red Hood is probably the very best character against Dispel because pretty much any move will get you out of it. You can just wide to get out. Kunai gets you out. Vanish gets you out. While Storm can also get out by just pressing wide, you're at least more likely to bonk on something because it speeds you up. Red Hood can just freely get out with a 1.0 multiplier on wide. And Horai down to his last heart. Going to need to play a bit safe here. Try to make it to endgame perhaps. Get some melee checkmates. Illy with another melee basic.
I don't know. Horai played that. Horai was playing that correctly, right? Horai was.
I would say once you're in, you should continue to go in. Yeah, I do like what Horai did. But if Horai had gotten, had lived and gotten pushed out, I think trying to re-enter Hood's space may not have been correct. Because it's like, the ranges in this matchup are a bit interesting because Sun is probably favored at long range and at melee range, but in order to cross into melee range, which is the most favorable range, you have to cross Hood's best range, which is mid-range. Because Sun's moves don't really work at mid-range. So making that cross is, I think, the time when you're most likely to get hit.
All right, but as we watch this game, once again, evened up in hearts, will Horai be able to clutch out this end game?
Yeah, this is looking like a position. Oh, Horai did not hold the diamonds. I think the correct play there was to do a second wave of diamonds and then charge in for melee, because that means Hood's escape options out would have been cut off.
But right now, really just not getting caught up in any close range stuff from Horai, just circling, avoiding, trying to maximize distance. Not something that Illy does often, but
as the walls close in, Sun Basic starts to take up such a huge portion of the screen. So I really like what Horai went for there. It's one of my theories of Sun endgame where you basic them when they're against the wall and then diamond, because then they have to run in and get hit. But unfortunately, gets hit and Illy takes the game.
I don't know, like...
Yeah, if you can do regular basic while they're against the wall, tap diamond and focus basic, that can set up a very tough situation where they have to stand just right in the middle and also get lucky with the diamonds. It's a really nice endgame setup.
Well, Illy's going to Frost now. And what I was trying to say is, Maiden Spell, one of the unique properties of Maiden Spell is you can play a situation as correct as you want. But if the opponent is good enough at dodging, they will escape it.
And that's what makes Depth a good character. Like Storm.
Yeah, well,
yeah. Why?
It's both the beauty. It's the biggest. It's the best and the worst aspect of Maiden Spell, depending on who you ask, pretty much.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique aspect. But here we see Illy. I think Illy and especially Minkle play this character in this matchup differently than anyone I've ever played against, except maybe like kind of Zale, but even Zale plays a bit more passive. When Illy and Minkle want to go in as Frost, they'll get in. They're so good at just getting up in your face and mixing you in a matchup where I think most Frosts tend to play pretty passively. And it's just a different kind of game plan you have to be ready for.
And it's definitely much more mechanically straining and mentally straining to play a game plan where you have to go in over and over.
Yeah, it definitely opens you up to getting hit more, because Frost playing passively in this matchup should result in no hits for either player until endgame. And I guess it just depends on how confident you are in your endgame. I think high theory, it's probably better for Frost because of Stun Wave, but I don't know. In practice, I sometimes want it to go to endgame as Sun. Maybe it's just because like that's the only. It's like kind of weird because you're probably disfavored at endgame, but it's the only time you can ever land hits. You can't possibly hit a good Frost before then, so you kind of just have to hope for it anyway.
Right, IllyMNS on YouTube, trying to bring it all the way back in this first card, gets the wide hit as well, and now it's suddenly 1-1 from a 3-1 deficit.
I do like Horai here being fearless though, because I think I've talked to Illy about this matchup too. As Sun, to win against a really good Frost, you have to be fearless and just do melee mix, even though it seems like you're gonna die. But Illy does take the first card.
Oh, and
Horai made it close though.
yeah, it was so close, but in the end, Illy just went into unhittable mode.
Yeah, Horai does dispel right away. Maybe was afraid of a round start stun wave, but neither player takes a hit there. Also, you may not know this if you're not a Sun player, but Sun's movement speed is very nice for dodging Frost wide. Because if you're just holding to the side as Frost goes in, almost always you live. I've learned this now that I've tried to learn depth, and it's nowhere close to as good. Because as depth, you often just hit the wide, but as Sun, you almost always live. Catches the approach with Tap Diamond.
And this is the situation Horai wants to be in, right? The walls are slowly closing in, and with a heart lead, well, now it's even, but better than being down.
Another important note there was Stun Wave was down. If you can ever make Stun Wave be down in this matchup, you can go in, I think. And it's like pretty strong, because Frost's best way to keep you out is just that absolute threat of Stun Wave. But when it's not there, if you can possibly just get on top of Frost, the mix-up game heavily switches to your favor. So, but right now, see, Horai had to disengage immediately because Stun Wave was up. Gets hit by Wide, unfortunately, on the way out. Frost Wide can be kind of scary when you're retreating from melee range. So if you can try to retreat in a straight line, similar to if you're fighting Storm Beast, that can be best.
And now Illy making it so hard, just not getting hit and just getting in and doing wide pressure, doing basic pressure, and with just one heart left on Horai. Illy just needs to get in once.
Yeah, you had to. Unfortunately, you had to dispel there. It was mandatory. The best way I think to dodge Frostwide is to always assume it's happening and just dodge basic instead. And that will usually let you live. Frostwide, I think, is actually secretly a really bad move. As long as you respect it, you should never get hit by it.
It's hard to it's hard to be ready for Frostwide when you need to be really nervous about Frost using basic, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm aware. Frost basic is the same pattern every time though. And I think there is this movement you can do. Although of course, you know, it's very hard, but if you do the movement right, you shouldn't get hit by either move.
Yeah. There's also a third thing Frost can do, which is move. No, like move in without doing anything, and then stun, and that's one of the scariest things possible because I think
Yeah, I mean the walk-in mix-up is the scariest one. You usually just have to dispel.
it's like you cannot risk getting cornered by Frost in that situation, so you have to go in another direction, and that is hard when Frost can use wide. But it is what it is.
Everything from now on will be on stream.
Hi.
Zale J Feather.
I'm very excited to watch QP Illy. Illy thinks very highly of QP. I'd like to see how that translates into gameplay.
You know, now that I think about what I just said, I think the correct move would be something involving diamonds. For that particular what's the word for that particular situation. Yeah, if Frost isn't using basic yet, then moving outwards and sideways with diamonds is.
Wait, I'm not in the deck. Did the match start?
Oh yeah, here I can stream it.
Unfortunate.
It happens.
Was checking the bracket.
Alright, and it's Frost versus Lich. Zale. I don't know.
Oh, is Is Zale just playing all the controversial matchups? Is that what's going on? I can see it.
I mean, there are multiple ways you can interpret this as. Maybe Zale was trying to prove Sun Hood in winners, and now is just picking a character he is more likely to win on to get back and do more Sun Hood. Or maybe
Yeah, I mean,
he is just cycling through every character.
the thing is, though, Sun Hood into Storm is, like, in my opinion, one of those characters' better matchups. Like, especially Sun. That's Sun's best matchup. And for Hood, I think it's at least one of the more doable ones. But playing Frost against Jayfeather's Lich, I feel like there has to be something to that, right?
That's true.
There has
This
to be.
is pretty psychological.
Yeah, whether it's just to prove a point or to try to gain a psychological edge, I can't say. But I'm really glad to see Zale enter, because Zale is a very good player, and always fun to see the really good players actually enter stuff.
Wow, well, excuse me. No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
I mean, you do enter stuff. I'm not calling you out.
I know. I bet that in a slightly different way.
Jayfeather played around so well around the missing stun wave when it was on cooldown, but wasn't able to earn a hit from that, and now Zale has quite a bit of room to play with, although as I say that, the arena is shrinking a lot.
Yeah, Zale is playing, I think, as aggressively as you really can in this matchup, sitting on Flower, going for wides after hit. But as the arena shrinks, it becomes pretty deterministic for Lich, unfortunately.
But until that, like, critical point... Yeah, well, not this time.
Firepower. You know, Jayfeather... Because Jayfeather hates this matchup so much as Frost, we've talked about it a bit. He definitely is quite confident in it from this side. You know, if you lose something a lot and think it's terrible, you probably know why you think that and can just do all those things from the opposing side of the matchup. Now, unfortunately, failed to block off either the top or bottom. I think as Lich, your setup becomes so much stronger if you make a full wall vertically. And still doesn't have one, unfortunately. You can stand in a certain place to get the wide to cover it if you really need to.
Oh no. Yeah, I think back there, Jay was trying to cover that upper side of the wall somehow, and I think what happened was, Jay tried to cover it with a wide, it did not work, and Zale was able to run in for that sun wave.
But unfortunately got wide parried.
Yeah. Oh, I was talking about the stun wave before that, but yeah.
Another wide snipe.
Oh no! What happened there? Oh no! That was
another green mode.
That was doubly unfortunate.
Right now,
so theoretically, the new beta should help Frost in this matchup some.
I mean, it really depends on how you look at it, right? Because this is just the vertical wall and AFK version of Lich.
Well, not entirely, because the gap between the flowers was kept. So Lich still has to actively reset up as in previous patch. Or I guess live patch, since previous patch means something different now. But yeah, the flowers do last longer, so I guess the amount of times you have to reset up is fewer. So maybe it is better for Lich than before. I don't think so, but it could be.
I think in this particular player matchup, I think it is better.
Oh.
Will Zale stick it out with Frost? I think...
Swapping to Green Hood.
That's hilarious, because Jayfeather is a famous Green Hood hater. There's the comment.
Now, if the previous one was psychological, this one definitely is.
I've thought about implementing a rule for Green Hood, but you've seen the color clause I put in my tournaments now, right? You should add it.
No, I won't.
Why? You think what I did against Air Vent was fair?
I think it's funnier this way.
Well, no, the color clause wouldn't stop your opponent from playing Green Hood. It's just you can request not the same color for both characters. Because I blind countered Air Vent's color swap in Hood vs Depth like 2 times.
I mean, honestly, when you put it like that, I think it's a skill. I think it's a mind game that you should be winning, and that if Airvent was better at the rock, paper, scissors, Airvent would have won.
I mean,
One
it was
thing I
hilarious,
have-
but I do think it was really scummy, and I shouldn't be allowed to do that.
The human eyes and brain react differently to certain colors, so sometimes I wonder what kind of effect that has. I do think green hood is a fair bit harder to see than red hood.
Yeah, I agree. It's just not. It doesn't stand out as well.
Okay.
This is going a lot better for Zale so far, though. Oh, takes the hit.
Right now, my focus is
Say
pretty.
that, but oh, sorry, go on.
Every time both of you talk, your mic volumes and quality completely change. So I'm trying to balance the levels, and it's not
Oh,
working
is that
at all.
so?
They just like wildly change every time a sound is made.
Well, my bad.
I don't know how to fix that. I'm sorry.
I am doing it on purpose that time.
Okay, but we are watching Zale win this matchup pretty comfortable here.
Do you think J Feather will go for the hood mirror? That is something that J Feather has been known to do in the past. Because if you go green hood yourself, your opponent is forced to be red hood.
It's the ultimate counter.
That actually is the reason, according to J Feather, that he will go for the red hood mirror.
Yeah, Atkinson brings up a good point, which is that the white parts of the bullets stand out less than green hood. And I think that's true.
Yeah, that is true. In addition to just, I think, if you're the kind of person who likes to just kind of peripherally look away from you and look a lot at yourself, your peripheral vision won't catch the kunais as well as if they were red.
Green
Looks
hood,
like that was a good swap.
Green hood went on the board for Zale.
J Feather could go depth here.
There it is.
And there we go.
You know, there's a reason why you're on the mic, I guess, to make those predictions.
True.
Yeah, I do know my M&S meta. But this matchup is one that it's a skill check. And I've been playing a lot of depth lately, so I know just how much of a skill check it is. You have to not ever get hit. But if you never get hit, you'll never lose. That sounds really silly, but it just is that simple.
It's like, if you have no idea about Maiden and Spell, that's just a really dumb statement. But if you're a Maiden and Spell player, you'll just nod at that.
Yeah.
I think Zale in particular plays this matchup differently than most other Red Hoods I've fought, because what Zale is very willing to do is just only press basic the entire match and just do like basic, single kunai, basic.
Oh,
and you can see there's not even any wides up. Wow.
That was such an unfortunate hit, though. I did not think that detonation would reach from the Whirlpool.
Yeah, it can be deceptive at times, but the whole no wides and single kunai thing to just only ever basic, I guess it just really shows Zale believes putting on pressure at all times is the most important thing to do in this matchup.
That previous hit that J Feather got on Zale, though, that's some propaganda for the depth wide is too strong, people. Because
I think depth wide needs to be strong because it's only good at one range. I think it's a fine move.
But it was
Otherwise,
it was so funny
everything
watching
does.
Zale like
Would be fine.
hover around J Feather for a split second and get evaporated by the wide.
Yeah, I mean, when I play depth, I treat wide as if it's my basic, and it usually works out just fine. It's
I've
just
been playing depth lately just to troll people with wide. That has been my only purpose.
it's a very good
pretty fun.
anti-melee move. Unfortunately, though, I think depth as a character would cease to function if she didn't have it,
Maybe.
because otherwise you could just run around everything. It's a good, like, you can't just disrespect my pressure type of move.
Oh, forcing the vanish out and gets a hit with the wide at the end. Beautiful from J Feather.
Yeah, I think if Zale had managed to do one focus kunai before vanishing, it would have been very likely a hit because of the shotgun slow. That's, I think, one of the better things Hood can do in this matchup is wait for depth to shotgun,
Oh.
and then just, like, spam a move and instantly vanish. And oftentimes, that will result in a hit. At least against my awful depth. Maybe there's counterplay to it I just am not good at. But we see a lead for Zale, continuing to put on this single kunai pressure. We just saw it again.
Zale's favorite move.
And now with the vanish used, Feather going in, but oh, what a dodge! Zale gets
An
out of
insane
that.
Wow. That was something. Jay is going to stay.
Yeah, I mean, that I think was closer than the Lich versus Hood. We'll see how the round begins.
Don't worry, stream viewers, that is on the replay list.
What is? Oh.
The dodge.
Yeah, so something we saw as well is another development in the depth metagame where Feather believes using Cat immediately to set up your first basic is correct in, I think, a lot of matchups, because oftentimes, and I think we saw it in your Invitational, where Uomiya in their matches sometimes would get hit immediately, I think, by Frost and Hood while setting up the first basic. So to prevent situations like that from happening, Feather just uses Cat right away to set up a basic safely.
And Cat, even with the nerfed cooldown, still a relatively low cooldown in the world of Maiden and Spell.
It is, and it's, I think, a very it's very neat move now. It's a lot cooler because rather than just being this button that is just always available to get you out of stuff, it's available a little less, but the speed boost makes it more dynamic. It like adds a new layer to Depth as a character. It's a bit more interesting.
That Zale basic only
Ooh,
pressure
nice
was
dodge by Jay.
insane.
Yeah, Zale just does basic and single kunai, and there it is again. This is just what he does in this matchup.
I was actually trying that against Air Vent's Depth earlier today.
How'd it go?
Oh, well, we both won some, lost some, but, like, I try to do the, basic kunai basic a lot, and it's a fun strategy. It does work a lot of the time, and it's decent against Depth.
What
Wow.
kind of a dodge was that? That was crazy.
Zale, like, when I saw it the first time, I'm like, damn, this is the once in a set Zale dodge, and then he did it again.
It surprises me how good people are, because Ox did some of those too. People seem really good at dodging Depth's moves, despite Depth being such a rare character. Like, where do they learn this stuff? There aren't Depth players.
I think
Oh, here's a Depth player right here.
I think
Oh,
dodging.
I know, but
I think dodging depth stuff is mechanically annoying, but like conceptually pretty simple. Like you don't need to like grind against the depth to learn how to do it. If you can execute it, I feel like once you know how to do it, it's pretty simple.
yeah, I know we have a Depth player right here, but we recently came off a period of Feather being a Lich main, and before that would
True.
switch between Frost and Depth pretty often. Like my entire tournament history against Feather was mostly Frost. He would play one game of Depth, lose, and then switch to Frost.
Oh, and look at that! Zale is just dead zone abusing against Jay. Just sat
That's
on
how
top
pretty
of
much
him.
every set we've ever played is gone before the Lich era.
There it is.
Oh, catches the movement with wide. Yeah, Red Hood. I think one of the very best things about Red Hood is catching that movement along the wall with the outer hit of basic. Very strong.
Well, Horai, you're up once again against Zorn.
Boy.
Ooh.
I just fought Illy too.
Please tell me you're gonna stream Illy vs QP.
That's winners finals.
I just really want to see that set. I'm curious. I mean, Illy will probably go Sun, but I want to see it anyway. Maybe QP can force out the Lich.
All right.
All right, now I'll actually join the game.
Here we go.
All right, so this is Zorn's
stopped
first time back
streaming.
in a
I'll
while,
reduce
right?
the ping a bit.
Yeah,
You don't want warping. You're the Sun player. You want this.
Oh yeah, I forgot. But still.
no, give me like 2 seconds. Replays are still playing.
Oh, okay.
Good luck, Horai.
Thanks.
All right, we're good. We're chill. We are ready to head into the other losers' quarters. Horai versus Zorn.
Zorn,
all
my
set?
fellow balance buddy.
Oh.
We'll get to see
Let's go.
the theory put in practice. Right? The expected matchup. Sun versus Lich.
Absolutely. And I don't know how this will go. The last time
Mhm.
a tournament game happened, Horai Zorn, I feel like that was an eternity ago.
Yeah, I actually don't really like Zorn's initial opener, getting the flower there. Because, see, now you're kind of forced to leave a hole in your setup. I think, look how much of that flower is out of bounds. It's just kind of poorly placed. Some diamonds coming out from Horai. We'll see if the teleportation mix-up works out, but Zorn manages to escape.
And it does feel like a lot of the time. Oh, Zorn
Yeah,
does want to
those-
get in that little mid range, but Horai is definitely making it pretty difficult.
Yeah, placing the diamonds right in front of Zorn. The most effective way to get hits of Sun in this matchup, especially as ping goes up, is to just place diamonds in front of Lich as she tries to go in front of you. But as we can see, more diamonds coming out. Zorn is very good at dodging them, but we'll see. There we go. Gets right out. If you can possibly catch Lich with Dispel, I think that is actually the best way to get hits. Because Lich is one of the few characters that doesn't have a 100% free guaranteed way to escape. Butterfly exists, but it's not perfect. You can still sometimes catch because Lich's movement speed is so slow with those melee setups. And Horai with a nice, excellent trap in that basic.
Yeah, once again, that slow movement speed coming into play.
That was also a bit of indecision. Zorn just kind of sat there while the waffle stacked up, and then when the basic happened, had nowhere to go. You kind of always have to be moving in against Sun. If you let the pressure stack up, you're just kind of asking to lose.
Yeah, and you usually see that in newer players versus Sun. They get caught in the basic a lot, trying to decide whether to go in or go out or to decide. But the reason why we're seeing it so much here is because, well, Lich, it's like your indecision gets magnified by multiple times.
Yeah. Quite a big flower there from Zorn. We'll see if Horai decides to cross to the other side. Chooses to remain left. I think paradoxically, it's often better to like go towards flower. More so last patch probably, but because it's the one that's going to disappear sooner and it'll open up space for you. And another nice melee setup from Horai.
1-0, pretty dominant from Horai. Seemed like they were in control, says the confident staying all set.
Yeah, that was definitely some good offense, I think, from Horai. And manages to catch another retreat from Zorn with the tap diamonds. And, that was just kind of an unfortunate bonk. And that a nice basic from Zorn. Yeah, the Lich basic is very good at catching forward movement directly at you. Here come the diamonds. Lich currently needs to survive a bit longer, but manages to get through.
And right now, Zorn just looking to build those walls, and a big like thing that Zorn hasn't been able to do is get the butterflies on the side of Horai.
Yeah, Horai's been walling out very well. Although I do think in some of these cases, the waffle layers are being placed a little bit too far from each other. But oh no, this position is quite unfortunate.
And just get
All right, the
through.
flower goes away. So in the situation, excellent.
I can't believe
Yeah,
it.
Lich-
Horai's like making it out of really bad spots so often.
This is very good Sun Lich play, managing to find those safe spots and punishing the extensions from Lich to try and set up. Because if you can like hold your ground, this becomes a lot better of a matchup. Yeah, I do think it's something I'm noticing more as I watch is all the Sun players do waffles different. I think it's very noticeable Horai's waffle pattern being different from others. They're a bit more spaced than I'm used to seeing, which like forces the opponent to make more micro decisions, even if each individual decision is a little bit easier. So it's its own philosophy.
And the waffles are a move that lends itself pretty well to like, I guess, an individual skill expression. There's a lot of different ways to waffle.
Yeah, I have my own personal style. I tend to try to stack up one hard barrier to force my opponent to move in a certain kind of way and then catch them with other moves. But I think what Horai's doing also works just fine. It's just a different kind of style.
But as we say that, Zorn manages to outlast Horai in this card and is looking to tie the set up here. Oh,
Ooh, catches that with the melee waffles.
well done. Uncharacteristic bonk from Zorn. And now getting pushed up.
I think that was just being sniped. I don't know if it was
That's true.
needed to flower or just not be there. Oh no, that didn't even look like a hit. That one was kind of silly. The wall is up, but there is a hole up top. Forced Dispel. That was an incredible setup. Caught trapped in the waffles, the basic was down, and then diamonds right in front of the basic. That's like as good as it gets for Sun. Setups like that are what you dream of. Yep, round start diamonds. Oftentimes, after Lich places the first flower, if she does not maintain center control, you can just spam diamonds.
Yeah, and
Very-
Zorn getting punished so much for, I guess, just backing up with the diamonds.
Yeah, also for going in with the waffles, Horai is very, very expertly countering Zorn's positioning decisions. In a bit of a backwards way, because usually waffles are not how you punish inward movement. Usually that's tap diamonds, but I guess at high ping, both are good. So here comes that wall.
But I don't know. Zorn's surviving, but the issue with Lich is that if you're in just survive mode, your pressure isn't meaningful enough.
That is true. However, if you are in just survive mode for long enough, it starts to become good pretty much no matter what.
That's true. Eventually, it will snowball to the point where you have actual setup.
Do you know if Zorn's a butterfly desinker? I don't think so, but maybe he's learned it recently. Something I noticed as well, like compared to Game Freak's Lich, is Zorn's butterflies tend to be much more center positioned, whereas Game Freak places them more on the extreme edge of the screen, often even intentionally placing them outside of his opponent's vision. So when they try to cross over, you run into butterfly bullets from a turret you didn't even see. Very mean strategy, but a very effective one.
Yeah, when you watch the gameplay, like he goes to the ends of the earth to get the butterfly positions.
Yeah,
More-
definitely a
yeah.
high priority of the gameplay from Game Freak.
But as we were talking, Horai is one hit away from taking the set.
Zorn needs to survive to stay in it. Oh, and there we go, gets the hit. So we'll see how the round start is. Okay, that was really clever. Knew that nothing Sun did could hit that fast, so did a quick wide butterfly and then flower to stay alive. Pretty much no matter what Horai had done, that would have worked, I think. Except for a very, very specifically placed tap diamonds.
Oh, and I don't know. Zorn's early game in this card has been so clean.
Yeah, that was a really good wide because Zorn knew that Sun would have to move in that direction to get a hit from Dispel and just catches it. So, unfortunately, the butterfly positioning is kind of bad right now. Gonna have to try and fix that up because you can just redirect them all into one corner at this point and then have free movement. I think could have spent a bit longer charging that flower, but maybe Zorn doesn't value big flowers quite as much when they aren't going to overlap as well.
Zorn, I don't know.
Gets right in.
Horai's just maintaining this lead, and Zorn's setup just isn't enough to force a hit on Horai right now. Oh, but
Yeah.
the butterflies line up. Horai kind of leans a little too into the setup, I think, at that point.
Yeah, the butterflies also haven't been super desynced, which I think in this matchup, desynced butterflies is definitely the way to go because Sun has to sit still to pressure you. So if you force Sun to move a lot, all the different waves of things that she does, they have to be shorter, which really weakens their ability to overlap.
Alright, but Zorn once again one hit away, trying to dodge the diamonds. The waffles are slowly approaching. Will Horai be able to do something with them? Has the diamonds as well. Forces the flower out. And Zorn doesn't have flower now. And there it is.
Indecision gets caught again.
Horai
Oh,
with,
good game, Zorn.
Horai with a 3-0 over Zorn.
Very well played.
Thanks.
Illy QP time.
All right.
But, I don't know. One thing though is Maiden and Spell is such a brutal game. It is a game where
Where what?
Maintenance Spell is a game where seeding will almost always be how the tournament goes.
I think you can have some surprises, but when it comes to the very top, generally that's true. Although recently, Axum Jinx has made some big upsets. You know, it can happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'm very curious. I expect this to be Sunstorm, but Illy might surprise us with some other character. Might go Worm, actually. Illy does like Worm lately.
No, possibly.
I'm
I
expecting.
wouldn't
I'm
be too
expecting
surprised
the
to
hood.
see Arcanists.
What are you expecting,
I'm
Saya?
expecting the hood.
Really?
Oh,
We'll have to
well.
Oh, it is weird.
Worm. There we go. Admittedly, I did make 2 guesses, but I know my M&S lore.
Well, I made 8 guesses and I got it right.
So this matchup is a really interesting one. I think as Worm, if you want to win, you need to play psychotically aggressive. You cannot get walled out because Worm can't really get through walls if they have been allowed to form. Oftentimes even getting hit isn't enough. You just have to stay in and not ever be pushed out. But I think that is somewhat realistic if you play it well. And then Storm's movement values can sometimes, you know, cause bonks on stuff. Storm can bonk on parts of Wormwide that you never thought even were relevant. It's hilarious. But then Novi Fire is slightly stronger now that the invuln on startup for DS is gone. Wow, what movement. And there's one of those wide moments that I was talking about, getting hit by like the 4th layer.
I don't know. Illy just plays, and you think, oh damn, Illy's out of it, and then Illy's back in it somehow.
Well, Illy is losing. QP won the first card, which, you know, this is Illy. Illy typically doesn't lose, so very impressive play.
But
yeah, I think the way that you should play this matchup beyond just being aggressive is just put difficult situations in front of Storm as much as possible. Just if you can also just run around the basics and try to basic Storm
Wow,
while
look at
basic
that.
is being charged.
Like,
Wow.
just like that. Did you guys see
Yeah.
Lily's move
Illy
there?
just wrapped around the circular basic. Like, I don't know. It feels like Worm has to put Storm in a difficult place, but Worm is put in a difficult place by existing in this matchup.
Yeah, it's definitely not a great matchup for Worm, but I think it is maybe better than people think. I think there's certain things that you can
Oh,
do.
very unfortunate positioning for QP.
Like Worm is I think overall a very hot or cold character, and this is one of the cold matchups, but it's one of the more winnable cold matchups.
And we've seen that Illy can do it. We'll just have to see if this is the card where Illy does it.
Yeah, I think lasers is like pretty important here, as well as just spamming basic in Storm's face if you can. But QP's done a good job so far of not allowing that to happen. Oh, I don't like this positioning. Yeah, you kind of had to go in there. Illy seems to be of the mind that Novi Fire is always bad. And maybe that's true, but I do think you should go for it sometimes just to keep Storm guessing.
Wow, okay, well.
Yeah, Illy, I'll never understand, because Illy just presses wide and it works. When I try playing like that, I never do anything. Like, I have to go for the other moves, but for Illy, somehow, some way, just wide gets the job done most of the time.
It's like, Illy's so dynamic with it. Even if it's one button gameplay, the way Illy moves with it is just crazy.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of basic is exactly what you should be looking for there. Just get in and spam basic. A laser in there too can really help. Oh, there's the Novi Fire right on time.
And
Love to see that.
Anecdote about Novi Fire. So I was talking to some Duelists of Eden people about Worm and how Worm in Duelists of Eden is completely different from Worm in Maiden Spell, because Duelists of Eden Worm feels more like a zoner. And so one of them asked about Novi Fire, and I just explained it as, imagine Rest, but it's massive and has startup.
Okay, yeah. However,
Rest is in Smash Bros.
Illy just
Rest.
made a cardinal sin of this matchup, which is Novi firing next to clone. You don't ever do that, unfortunately.
That
QP takes the
Cardinal
game.
Sin might cost Illy here.
Yeah, you just simply cannot Novi Fire next to Clone, or you will die. It's just a no-no. You can't do it. Ooh, that's a good place to do it, though.
Whenever
If you know what you're doing with... Oh, go on, Sai.
Okay, that was truly one of my lowest value comments that I was about to do.
Oh, it's okay. I was just gonna say, if you play certain characters like Worm, Depth, even Arcanist,
Oh.
if you know what you're doing with those wides and you know what your opponent's gonna do, you can intentionally hit people with wide, and when you intentionally hit someone with wide, you can really feel it.
Yeah, it is. Definitely those sorts of wides are quite good to use. I think that was a bit of a weird Novi Fire, but Illy is not really getting in this game, which doesn't bode well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
I do think Illy will need to change characters if he fails to win this game and gets hit right at the round start. You hate to see it.
And yeah, I don't know. It kind of feels like Illy's game plan is solid. Just needs to, as weird as it is to say for Illy, just clean up the dodging.
Yeah, Illy's playing, I think, the matchup mostly correctly. I do think the basic to wide ratio is wrong, but Illy has always been more about wide than me. I'm much more of a basic focused Worm than Illy, so I mean, I could very well be wrong about that, but I personally would like to see more basic and less wide.
But the issue with being on one heart is QP can just basically just mix you a bunch of times, and even if QP's the one getting hit, you'll probably, chances are you'll get hit at least once during those times.
Yeah, I mean, being on one heart is bad. I don't know if that necessarily means you should not basic, though.
Yeah, it's just way scarier for Worm just trying to mix. Oh, but Illy pulls one out of the hat.
Standing there is risky. I don't like standing there. Okay, but Illy somehow makes it work. Forces the DS. And QP takes the game.
QP up 2-1.
I think 2-0.
Sorry,
right?
2-0, yeah. I saw 2-0 and I said 2-1.
And Illy staying. This could be the first legitimate... Or no, Horai beat Illy, never mind. One of the first legitimate wins on Illy in a while.
I don't know if my win against Illy was legitimate. Illy might have been on a funny controller. I'm not certain.
Yeah, because I can only ever remember Illy losing on trackpad, and I don't think this is trackpad Illy.
Yeah, I don't think Illy would have done that crazy basic dodge on trackpad and gets out of that. Holy.
That was absolutely ridiculous. What an incredibly spaced Novi Fire to get through the perfect gaps. That's a replay.
That's Novi Fire as a defensive special. Rare.
That was probably the best defensive Novi Fire I've ever seen. Just timed it perfectly. Oof. Yeah, Illy, unfortunately, I think is just... I know I said you have to play psychotically aggressive, but you have to be smart about where you stand. Illy's standing in places like between Storm and Clone where you're just going to die. I'm not sure that it's really great positioning choices. Ooh, like right there, you can't do that. You can't run into Clone like that. You're going to get hit.
Oh, amazing Novi Fire though. And Illy, I don't know, Illy's, I feel like is just fishing for QP to make like a slight slowdown, a slight mistake in that sort of sense, and just letting it rip. I think going between the clone is part of that, because I think Illy's like trying to bank on that punish not hitting and getting a hit out of it. It's not like the greatest game plan, but I feel like that's like the general way that Illy's trying to play it.
The problem with that, though, is if QP holds basic, you're on top of clone, and your basic has a travel time, so you'll just, even if QP would have gotten hit, you'll lose the race because you're on top of clone, and you'll just get hit first.
No,
that's kind of why it's not good.
Like right there, I feel like Illy's just trying to use it to get in, to try and send both basics away.
Oh no, I mean, that was fine. It's just a matter of like, when you're positioned in a certain kind of way, being in between Storm and Clone is not inherently bad. It's just when you run between them when their like hitboxes line up, like kind of right there. but Illy was fast enough that it was fine. Because if you think about it, if you're positioned to where they line up, basically QP just has a twice as big basic.
Right, but normally we see the random bonk on Storm basic, Storm wide I mean, but Illy gets a worm wide out of nowhere onto QP. And now...
I mean, worm wide, to be fair, also a move that gets random bonks a lot.
That's true, but like, when there's nothing else like this, being completely random is not as common. And wow, man, just generate a hit out of what seemed like nothing.
That was pretty lucky. Otherwise, Illy was totally dead, but manages to take this game.
The download is starting for Illy. Will it continue?
You know, I've been really winning today. Every set has included characters I know. Good for me.
And that is GIF material. You know the GIF where Green Hood is like backing up and gets hit by a worm wide?
No, but I'd love to see it. Oh no, 3 wides in this game. QP may be choking a bit, or just getting unlucky, who knows? I wonder if QP's ping has anything to do with Illy's character choice, and that was a dominant round. But I think it was mostly just unfortunate movement decisions by QP, mostly, that cost that round.
Alright, Max, you're gonna have to carry commentary with Horat while I find the worm wide GIF.
Okay. So this is one of those bad positions. Somehow gets a hit with Novi Fire, but had that not hit, that would have been an absolutely terrible position, because when you're in that position between Storm and Clone where the basics overlap, there's nowhere safe to stand most of the time, and that's just like asking for death. Ooh, manages to find the hole. I guess one would have opened up below as well, though.
Ooh. You know, that was a really scary position for Worm. I think Illy really wanted that hit, and it simply did not happen. But that hit did happen.
Wow. Yeah, QP was actually really doing something really good where he transitioned into vertical walls at the drop of a hat. Had QP not gotten hit there, it would have been a rough position for Illy.
I think Illy's downloaded fully now. The confidence is insane. He was already confident before, but like, it's just the next level at the moment.
Oh, that was an unfortunate moment.
So we're going into game 5 now, I think, right?
Yep.
All right, that was a quick 2 wins from Illy, evening it up.
All right, and well, it looks like y'all have found the channel where I posted the worm wide GIF.
Ooh, barely maneuvers around that basic. They're just sticking in melee range, QP holding wide. Okay, I'm surprised Illy didn't get hit. That was a very good setup from QP, but manages to get out.
It's like a true 50-50, right? Once you recognize that basic's being pressed, you either go one direction or the other.
No, I don't think it's quite a true 50-50, but it's still strong. And I think maybe it's 50-50 against like Lich, but a fast character like Worm should be able to get out if you recognize it soon enough.
That's true. Oh.
Wow, Illy has more discipline than me. I would have probably at some point in there pressed Novi Fire, but Clone was there, so it would have definitely been a mistake to do. As I said before,
Illy was trying to bait out the clone sandwich from QP back there, as if like it looked like Illy was going to go in for a Novi Fire, which would not have been a very good move, but then Illy did not. Like there, like there.
Yeah. Oh,
not
just gets
quite
to do basics by wide. Illy was not moving for that storm wide. Changed my mind.
Right, but this hit can very well determine the fate of the set right here. Oh, and what a wide snipe.
Like I said, Illy just spams wide and it works somehow. I've tried to analyze it, but I've yet to figure out what's being done differently.
Okay, and well, Illy had a heart deficit, but QP will have to hang on for an absurdly long time here. But so far, Illy not going for stuff as crazy as before so far in this card.
It feels a bit more reserved and starting to get walled out for it. I think there's a reason you don't see Illy playing reserved, is that you just get walled out if you do. That's no good. Ooh, yeah, wow. I thought there was going to be a gap. Okay, Illy lives. Never mind.
I
That
think
looked like
QP could have been a
inside
little
basic
lower for
speed.
that one basic back there. That might have trapped it. Oh, that's rough.
I do like that. Just going in, going around the basic, continuing up the pressure. This is how you play aggressively in this matchup.
Oh no.
But now, Yupi the one adapting a little bit, feeling like they're getting hit much less by Illy's setups and attempts.
Ooh, that wide was close, but manages to dodge.
It feels like, yeah, I think QP's made a pretty significant defensive adaptation. Because QP, I think, likes to immediately go for something as soon as they stop moving. But this time, I feel like they're stopping moving. But
Ooh.
even when, as I say that, Illy manages to generate a hit.
I think we're in a position where Novi Fire is about to be good. We'll see if Illy agrees. Okay, the moment has passed.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, the vertical wall. This is dangerous.
Oh, but
Finds
Illy
the
got
gap.
out.
I'm surprised. That situation usually means death, but Illy knew exactly where the gap was going to be and lived.
Oh no.
Are we sure this is not trackpad Illy going God mode? Because that was like a very trackpad level swing.
I'm not sure, but I would assume this isn't trackpad because Illy's sticking on these basics a lot.
Nice micro in the corner by QP.
Last card to decide the set. Will Illy lose a set to QP, or will the dominant streak continue on just a little longer? A nice Novi Fire.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a bit of an uncharacteristic move, though. Just walks into basic.
Oh,
All right. Oh, manages to not
That's
die
scary.
somehow. Okay, I was a little worried for Illy, because if Illy like didn't get a hit there and went in, I think the possibility for a vertical wall was high.
I don't know what to say. It's so close, and both players know their game plan. It just depends on who bonks first, or yeah, it's pretty much who bonks first here.
We've seen surprisingly few checkmates. Illy's been doing a very good job at maneuvering around Storm's walls to the point where the checkmates are not happening.
Yeah, the majority of hits Illy has taken have been like flinging themselves into an existing charge basic, pretty much.
Yeah, I wonder if those nerfs at play, or if it would have looked this way regardless.
But Illy just needs one hit, and that basic will be
Oh.
enough. Illy reverse sweeps. Oh, well, replays are rolling, and there were a lot of crazy moments in this set.
That was a really good set. I'm a fan.
Yeah, that was a good set. Proves what Worm can do.
Oh, Game Freak's in the chat. Hello, Game Freak. Where have you been?
Speaking of good sets, Poor Isaiah up right now.
When's the last time that happened?
Except Zale just left. It has been a while.
Oh, I see this GIF you posted. This is quite something.
That is a classic.
What is this thing Zorn posted? This isn't that bad, is it? I mean, it's high
Zale.
ping.
Oh, hey Zale. I hope I win this because I want to fight QP with depth.
Oh, really? That'd be interesting. Zale's a tough opponent, though. Good luck.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll see.
Losers semi-finals. Horai versus Zale. Horai. I would gamble that Horai will be on the Sun Priestess, but not quite sure what Zale will pick.
Yeah, you
I'm
never
gonna
know.
predict that Zale's gonna go Frost.
All right, here we go.
Zale's very good at Frost in this matchup. We'll see, though. If it was try hard, I think it would be Frost. I've had a pretty good track record at predicting. Let's see if the streak continues.
Ooh.
Did it not continue? Oh, it didn't continue. Going Hood. Okay. But we do continue the streak of every set having a character that I play on screen.
All right.
All right. Zale establishing that also important center control at the beginning of the match, but it looks like Horai's was in a position to retake it, but walked right into basic.
What are your thoughts on this matchup in a vacuum, ignoring the players?
It's quite an even matchup, but I do think Hood probably wins it by just a little bit, just because I think it's slightly easier for Hood to establish that center control. And the speed of Red Hood really lends towards disrespecting Sun's offense in a way that Sun can't really do back. But the fact that you lose endgame as Hood kind of makes it more even than I think it would be otherwise. I think if you're at a skill level where you don't reach endgame every time, Hood wins definitively. But if you do make it to endgame every time, it becomes hard to call. That's my current place on this matchup.
Wow, and Zale's corner pressure is something there. The layering with knives and basic. What a menace to deal with.
It does seem like Zale shoots basic more often than other players, often to the point of just not even putting down wide. Like, no, there was no wide for a while there. It was just spam of basic. Forces out Dispel. I think one of the more interesting aspects of Sun versus Hood is the defensive specials, because everything is a judgment call. You'll almost never be forced to DS as either character. It's a pride thing. You have to just simply decide, I'm not good enough to live here. I have to press DS.
Yeah,
and that is kind of cool to me.
It's also like, how worth it is it for me to press it? Because when Horai pressed it like a hot minute ago, it was because Zale pressed Vanish and offensively and was doing a lot with the kunai. So pressing DS was pretty high value.
Yeah, I think it's also high value the closer you are, because if you're close to Hood, while sure you'll almost never get anything out of it, there's that 1% chance you just like get a tipper and then Hood gets hit by basic. All right, Horai evens it up.
Nice.
Games haven't been going late, but it's even so far.
And
yeah, we'll see.
I just took a look at the clock, and this has just reminded me that a few players have contributed in making this tournament relatively short so far.
How so? By like winning really fast?
No, the lack of Javaro.
Ah, yes. I miss Javaro.
I love Javaro, but Javaro drives up average game length by a ridiculous amount. I swear.
Did you see in my tournament? I don't know if you were gone at that point, but my Fate tournament, Game Freak and Javaro had a 30-minute game, I think. Maybe it was the set. I think it was a 30-minute set where they just played a Lich Mirror, and it went to, apparently, according to what Game Freak said, it was min walls every game, and they just lived forever.
Right, but Dale takes that game, and
it looked very winnable, though, I think, for Horai. Very winnable. Took a card. But yeah, if you don't make it to endgame, the things that Hood has to dodge just aren't as hard as what you're dodging from Sun's side. Especially just the movement speed from Hood can just dash right through those rings. And never will have to dodge that many stacked layers. See right there, just manages to weave back and forth the layers. Whereas Sun over there is having to micro like crazy to dodge things.
You know, you said rings, and that brings up an old memory relevant to one of the players in this set. But that's a little off topic. Right now, the walls are closing in, and in theory, this is very favorable for Horai.
Yeah, because as you start getting to this size, Sun's basics start covering huge percentages of the screen, and there's less room to back up away from diamonds. But in a lot of other matchups, it's not good because they can just sit on you. But Hood's melee is not good enough to sit on Sun. If you sit on Sun, she's happy. So it can become a bit tough. Even right now, the walls have opened up a little bit more. Ooh, yeah, that I think was a good dispel. Was very likely to get hit there. Wow, what good movement. That looked very hard to dodge.
And on those, It feels like Zale is just doing like a figure 8 in the bottom right, and he's just surviving just long enough for Horai's pressure to not be overwhelming.
Yeah, I think Horai is maybe doing slightly too large rings, and so they're not overlapping quite enough. I think throwing in a couple shorter rings would do wonders for the overlap of things.
Right, it's
Yeah,
down
it's
to the
more like
wire
that.
in
That's
this
good.
first
And now here
card.
come the diamonds. Forces the vanish. Yeah, if you can force vanish, it was worth it. And now that vanishes is gone, if you can stay alive here, yeah,
Oh.
there you go. Checkmate.
Okay.
Very rare. Not checkmate. That was perfect gameplay. You force out the vanish and then get Hood into the corner. Diamond basic. That is this Hood slaying game plan.
Hood slain. I can't believe how smoothly you said that.
The Hood slaying game plan?
Yeah.
What's wrong? Is it too goofy or hard to say?
No,
What?
no. Well, I don't know. It just like you said it so naturally.
Okay.
I'm not saying this in like a judgmental manner. I was just in awe.
Okay. Yeah. This is gonna be rough. Yeah, that was quite a good setup from Zale. If as Hood, everything you do is just so much stronger when your opponent's in the corner, similar to Sun. But Sun just likes walls in general. It doesn't have to be the corner.
I think that's true about a lot of characters, to be fair.
Uh,
A lot of things, a
guess-
lot of characters do are stronger when your opponent's in the corner.
I think it's just more noticeable for these characters because it's the only time that anything they do is real, as opposed to just being a little bit more real. But yeah, it is true that everyone is better in the corner.
Maiden Spell is a
And then-
game about a lot of relative things, honestly. Like everything that anyone says about Maiden Spell needs to be taken in a relative lens to everything else in Maiden Spell.
I really like this waffle wall that's forming. Forces the vanish. There you go. That's part 1. Now let's see how Horai handles part 2. You can also just go in. Yeah, we haven't seen much of that. Horai's been playing pretty reserved, but just outright rush down is also valid as a strategy in this matchup. All right, has a lead. No wides on screen. I actually think this is not good from Zale. You should always have wides on screen. At least from my end, no wides makes everything pretty trivial to dodge at times. You can just macro everything. Sure, you can sometimes still slip up, but wide is just that extra layer of garbage on screen. It just makes everything a little bit more likely to work.
It's also
again-
like a real mental stack thing. You just have to keep it in your mind. And now Zale is so aggressive. Goes into the wide
Yeah.
for that basic. But
Finally, a wide on screen. We had like a good 20 seconds of no wide on screen. Which, there we go.
But Zale, 1 heart left.
This is a dangerous game. All these movements Horai is making are excellent because a little misstep is going to result in getting hit along the wall there at every single phase. So Vanish is down. Ooh, I think if that had been a tap diamond, that would have been an almost guaranteed kill. But unfortunately, it was a channel diamond, so Zale got to run forward. Last heart.
Okay, and Horai manages to take that game. And that's huge. Set is all tied up.
1-2-1.
Let me just say, Maiden and Rings would have been the greatest tournament of all time.
So true.
Will we see a character switch? Zale did lose a game. Could always switch characters.
Ooh,
Arcanist. Oh, that's mean.
I'm for this one. Let's go.
Alright.
I am convinced at this point that Zale is picking tilt picks. Has picked the thing that infamously every player has hated so far. Yeah, so this matchup is one that got unimaginably worse in patch 4. Patch 4 made this matchup quite bad. It was already a little bit losing, but it's like quite significantly losing at this point. We'll see what Horai can do though. It's probably not a matchup that Zale has played a ton of. I don't see Zale playing as much Arc these days as other characters, but probably still has the experience from back in the day. So I am of the opinion that there's a super secret tactic in this matchup I don't remember if I've told Horai about it. We'll see if the tactic gets implemented or not.
Is it the Arcanist tactic?
It's a tactic against Arcanist. Don't leak it to stream. I actually don't
Oh.
want people to know about it.
Wow,
But
hiding
it
tag.
is a thing.
But anyway, does
I'm just hiding. It would make Mega Blues mad.
wow,
Like, without a
okay.
doubt.
Well then, well Zale in a bit of a huge deficit here needs to really change something
Yeah.
to make this
I
game
do-
happen.
What Horai just did there is how I think you win this matchup. Arc is the worst character at contesting consistent waffle pressure, I think. So what Horai did, just building up that wall, not letting Arc press forward, was very good. And it resulted in pretty much a checkmate. Even if you have to eat a few debuffs, I think just sitting there in front of Arc and just doing waffles repeatedly is quite strong.
And while Horai and Max were talking about the Secret Sun tech, Horai has taken the first card and a lead in the second. We'll see what Zale can do. Is it getting a little tricky with the wide, but feels like Horai always has the dispel up, dodges just so well enough that when the dodge feels impossible, the dispel is there as a backup.
We saw a bit of a micro decision there. I think as Sun, when you dispel matters a lot, but also where. So Horai had a choice to either retreat to the left or to the right. And I think dispelling while retreating to the right would have been a little bit better because more of the screen would have been invincible. Oh, and Zale just kind of walks into that one, unfortunately. Seemed like put himself in the corner. So forget what I said about this matchup. Horai demolishing Zale that game, proving that it's still winnable.
And I feel like instead of a matchup thing, it just didn't feel like Zale was really cooking with the arc. Definitely not the pick
Yeah,
that I wanted to
I
see
think
there.
the range. I think a lot of it had to do with the range, because in this matchup, Arc versus Sun, Arc's strongest range is Sun's weakest range, and I don't think Zale really abused that as much as you really should. Because you'll see in the Mega Blues chat that Arc's only effective range is right outside her character circle. I wouldn't say it's quite that extreme, but it's definitely her strongest range, and that also happens to be Sun's weakest range. So you can really abuse that.
Speaking of Sun, though, there's two on screen now. Zale opting for the classic variant, which looks a lot brighter than last I remembered. Did they change the colors or something?
Blue Sun's good and all, but I'll always love Orange Sun the most. Orange Sun is my color. I have played this matchup against Zale. Zale is very respectable at the Sun Mirror, so I don't expect this to be a free win for Horai or anything, but Horai is also really good at the Sun Mirror, so we'll have to see. It's, I think, an important thing to do in this matchup, if it's someone you haven't played a bunch before, is you have to decide who is better at melee. Because if it's you should go for it always, and if it's not you, you should never go for it. I think it is quite that all or nothing. So deciding which position you're going to be in early on, very important. Although, to be fair, I almost never opt to play this. I will go Worm almost always. I don't like this matchup. I think it's
we were talking, Zale building up a little bit of a lead here.
Yeah, here come the diamonds. Or I'm managing to get through that wave, but we've got another wave here. It's that one as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zale pressured by Horai, so couldn't pressure Horai back during the diamond waves.
All right, the melee interaction goes to Horai. I think one of the interesting things about the Sun Mirror is Sun is easily the character who's worst at abusing her own weaknesses. So, like, if you know how to abuse Sun with other characters, it's not necessarily as trivial to do it in the mirror. And look at those synced diamonds.
Yeah, and I think that's true of a lot of mirrors. Mirrors and Maiden and Spell are just like gameplay shifting for every single character.
Another synced diamonds. Ooh, that was a very rough situation that Horai put Zale in there. Oh, and the comeback from Horai manages to take that card with another melee interaction. So it looks to me as if the Sun that wins melee in this matchup has so far been Horai, has won, I think, 3 of the last 3.
Kind of crazy because Zale had a sizable heart lead, but it just vanished.
Yeah, I think it was 3-1, and then 3 melee interactions later, Horai takes the card. Ooh, unfortunate bonk. But diamonds are down. Man, just to get that hit. All right, yeah. Zale there, I think, showing some Sun and experience, just placed down an extremely long range wide when it was very clearly going to do absolutely nothing. Again, Horai there puts down a few short range ones first. Definitely a better strategy.
Now Horai one hit away from taking the set, but not letting it end immediately.
Yeah, another melee interaction there, but both players survive. Ooh, that was close. Almost died in basic too long, but manages to just barely escape. All right, Dispel's forced out. And the melee goes Horai's way. That was a really good setup, because go back, you get Diamond in the corner. Go in, you get breakfasted.
Good game, Zell.
And you get your wish. You get to fight QP.
I do. Alright, QP. Let's do this.
Oh wait, did I not update the scoreboard through that entire last game? Oops. Sorry guys.
I hope you memorized the order of Zale's characters.
No, I updated the Start GG one. I didn't update the on-stream one. My bad.
Oh, and Illy in the chat, the secret sun technique is not lag switching. It's a legitimate tech.
Oh, you want
lag.
to dictate Max?
Oh yeah, sorry, I was reading the chat.
No
yeah, but
worries.
the historical SST. that was definitely an incident.
Wait, what did Illy say about the secret sun tech?
That you were the original inventor of it, I think.
Oh, I didn't invent the term. Some other.
Well,
maybe I don't know who said the term, but people hid the lag switch.
It was a community joke. We all talked about Secret Sun Tech, and then Horai asked about it, and we didn't say anything.
So I don't know. I apparently have upset Illy somehow. Sorry, whatever it is it was. Right. So this, the one, the only, the truly, the 100-0 matchup, but Horai doesn't agree and is going to prove us wrong.
Okay, not yet.
Yeah. For those that aren't aware, this is probably, at least it was last patch. Of course, things can change because a lot of the changes I proposed for Storm, I did theorize would help this matchup. So maybe it's better, but at least on live patch, this is, I think, without a doubt, the worst matchup in the game. Very, very tough. Hood plus Hood plus Frost is probably a candidate as well, but this one has to be worse, right? It's just... Storm can't really be checkmated because depth can't be where depth needs to be to do the checkmates. And you just die to walls because they're faster checkmates. It's just a very bad character lineup. And like the speed of Storm means you can always just get exactly where you need to be.
All right.
Ooh, the shotgun.
Quick channel point prediction update at the moment. It is 26.7 thousand to 0.
In QP's favor?
Yes.
Wow, no confidence in Horai, but this matchup is really bad, so I don't quite blame the people. So Zorn did invent a new tech in this matchup for Lich, or not for Lich. It's just I'm so used to Zorn being Lich, but for depth. Like some shotgun thing. I don't know exactly what it is. Maybe Zorn can elaborate in the chat.
Although I do think the really dumb way of playing this matchup that may be correct is use the abused Jellycat cooldown and wide. And shotgun.
I think the way that you have to play this as depth is you have to just not even try to hit Storm. You just have to play only to live until min walls and then try to win. I think that's your only hope. Because you just get so utterly outclassed at full-size walls. And maybe with Cat being a low cooldown, it is feasible to live that long. I'm not sure. I've seen videos of Minkle versus Illy, but that was when Storm had fast basics. And I don't mean like fast as on live, I mean like really fast, the one before the Kuroko buff. So and even that was close. So like in a post Kuroko buff world, is it even doable? Like I've played players in this matchup as depth that I would consider to be much worse than me, and it's still really hard to win. Oh, almost gets the shotgun, but QP manages to get out.
Right now,
Okay,
second
I did
game
not have it in me
versus-
today.
Yeah, so logic, the Kuroko buff is making Storm's basics slow enough to overlap and allow for checkmates. Because previously Storm was a very bad character and couldn't checkmate at all, pretty much.
I think he was pretty good.
You think Storm was good?
Yeah, she was just bad against Lich.
Maybe I've been sold a bill of false goods by others, but
Well, that's what Kuroko told. I thought Storm was the best character in the game for a time, though I might have been wrong. I think it was actually Frost at the time.
I think back then the consensus was that Storm was a good character. It's just that the matchup versus Lich was basically unwinnable.
Yeah, that was
I
the
don't know.
problem.
I wasn't around at the time. It's all hearsay from me, so I'll let the old school players decide on that one.
But now we have Horai on the Sun, on the usual, versus QP and a bunch of wides. It almost looked like two wides just came in right next to each other and sniped Horai.
Yeah. Similarly to verse Hood, I think center control is the #1 most important thing in this matchup. If as Sun you can establish some semblance of center control, you can realistically push Storm around a bit and go for hits. But if you can't, you're just going to lose. And I also think it's all or nothing in many ways. Like, usually when I win this against QP, I win it without taking any hits. Usually if I take any hits, I lose. But if I can manage to never be hit, I actually win.
Darn, that
Because
doesn't
snowballs so
bode well
hard.
for my odds at the moment.
Well, that's just me. It may not be the same for you. But I'm just
Maybe.
thinking back to when I play QP, the games I win are usually the ones where I never am hit. And I establish center control and don't let QP out of the corner and just keep up the pressure.
Man, I just wanted to move a
Wow.
little.
Unfortunate.
That's so mean, Horai. You barely moved. You moved
Yeah,
like a
the,
millimeter.
I don't know. My opinions on this matchup are weird because, like, QP is very clearly an awesome player who's just really skilled. And I don't think I should ever win games, but I win games against QP where I feel as if I shouldn't. So that causes me to think this matchup's winning. Maybe I'm just very good at it. Maybe it actually is winning. I don't know. And look at that. Horai wins a card without getting hit.
Can't believe it.
The
It's
typical-
true. I just
the
need to not
typical
get hit,
method.
and I win.
I do think there's an issue, like, I guess the Sun way to play it and the Worm way to play it are so different, but I feel like I don't.
Oh, I'm screwed.
I don't know. I feel,
I've played both. I don't think you play this similarly as Sun as you do for Worm. I don't think you can, because I think one of the main reasons the Worm playstyle works is because of wide, where you can kind of police the movement at least a little bit from Storm, but Sun can't do that.
all right,
So I don't think it works.
so Horai had said like, "Oh, I'm screwed," but then dodged 2 entire setups, found the hole, and got a hit. So, who was really screwed at that moment?
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm screwed.
Yeah,
Ooh.
QP very good at finding checkmates in just any position. Truly very good.
Sometimes
Oh,
I just don't know what I'm supposed to do in this matchup, but that makes me feel like, unironically, just need to learn to practice.
this is one that I believe in. I believe in this one. I can understand giving up in some of them, but I don't think this is one. I mean, it's
Okay.
probably losing at 20xx, but they all are.
I promised myself I would make only one actual balanced opinion in this whole stream, and so I'm just gonna get it out of the way now that I'm fighting Storm. Make Jellycat square.
Make Jellycat a square. Why?
Good games, QP. Well, absolutely no reason whatsoever.
That would be.
That's my
pretty
balanced opinion, guys.
All right.
Good games, QP. I tried to show some things with depth, but apparently I did not have it in me today, or QP was just playing a lot better against my depth. Maybe. Either way, I am not upset with that result because I think QP had like a 90% chance of winning that no matter what, so I am fine.
Yeah. So Game Freak saying in the chat, is Storm the best currently? I actually don't know. I think in beta patch, it's not definitive who the best character is. At least that's my opinion.
I think it's either Storm or depth.
I think it's actually one of 4 characters. I think there's 4 characters who could be the best.
Ooh, Arcanist and Lich?
No, I think the most likely candidates are probably still Lich and Storm. I think it could be Depth, and I think there's a 2% chance it's Frost.
Oh. Well, Arcanist is better than Frost.
I'm not actually sure. I think it's not likely. It's probably not better than 2%, but I think there's a 2% chance about that Frost is the best character.
All right, while we're all distracted, Grand Finals. Illy MNS YouTube versus QP. Get your predictions in now for the entire thing. I know there's someone out there who's mad at me for making it the entire thing instead of just one set of Grand Finals, but, well, it's too late now.
I think while it may not be clear, at least to me, who the best character is, I think it is pretty clear who the worst are. I think there's a very clear good-bad gap, but at least at the top, it's not as definitive who the best is anymore, from my opinion, at least.
Yeah. I think you're underrating Arcanist by far.
Oh, I mean, Ark's definitely in the upper half of the characters, for sure. Arcanist might even be better than some of those characters. I just don't really think Ark could be the best character.
Oh, I understand. That's fair.
Like,
All right. Enough balance talk. Grand Finals.
Right.
Well, this isn't really balanced. It's
Holy shit!
What?
No way!
Oh my god.
Okay, we're seeing
Okay.
depth.
Is Illy going to do what I can't?
I mean, the one time I asked Illy to record this for YouTube, he said that he can't possibly win and refused. So, we'll see how this goes. I'm very interested to see how Illy plays this matchup. All right, off to a lead. Oh, okay. Is Illy just gonna prove us all wrong? That'd be too funny.
But what makes me wonder is why did QP change colors? This does not happen often.
I actually think QP changes colors more often than any other top player. I've seen QP play both colors very frequently.
I would agree. QP has played both of the Storms.
Damn, that 5-month break is destroying me in terms of knowledge. It's over.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming back, though. I really appreciate it. Once I'm out of school in like 2 weeks, I'll actually enter your events, probably. Assuming Omega Strikers doesn't take over my life.
Speaking of Omega Strikers, I'm a little more hyped for Duelist of Eden, but that doesn't matter because it's Grand Finals and Illy has taken the first card. Holy fuck. No, well, this matchup, I don't know how Illy did it.
I mean, Illy is definitely going in.
I think Illy's playing it a lot like they played the Worm way. I'm like not lying. They're playing it similar to Worm, and they're using Jellycat to like simulate the move speed of Worm.
Yeah, I think that's true. That is what's happening. I think QP is gonna adjust to it though and win. I don't think QP will lose this. Yeah.
Right. Well, if the QP adjustments come, it will be now. But what will happen here?
Yeah. Because Depth's threats have a very particular range to them, and I think Storm is just the character that's most able to never be in those ranges. So once QP gets more comfortable, I think, with where not to stand, it'll start looking pretty dominant.
But Illy's saving Cat, going for a bit of a burst option here, but gets caught.
Yeah. Cat is nice, but unless you hold down the button for a bit, the amount of invincibility you get is pretty pathetic. You get basically nothing. So against bullets that it can't eat, like Storms, it's gonna be rough.
Ooh, shotgun.
Yeah, QP I think actually could have gotten out, but the wide made them sit and think for a bit, so got hit. Kind of like Sun. Or like a Sun setup. Ooh, look at... Oh, bonks the wide.
Ada's blessing, almost. That wide was just in the perfect place to catch the escape, and it was cast like a year ago.
Yeah, sometimes depth wide is just right where you need it to be. Conveniently. Oh, that was hidden. I didn't even see that basic. It was like underneath all the Storm basics. I wonder if QP also didn't see it. But Illy about to take the game, just needs one more hit. Imagine.
Oh, but
Ooh.
yeah, it's so hard to get that one hit because as depth, you're not really gonna get a bonk unless it's one of the randomest wides ever.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
What happened?
All right, Illy takes the game. Very well played from Illy. That's one to go back
Illy.
and study for all the students of depth out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay,
Arc
Illy switched to
time.
Arcanist, which is a pretty reasonable move if I do say so myself.
Arcanist is, I think, a decent pick against Storm, for sure.
Absolutely.
If you are on top of your debuffs, you can really convince Storm not to stand in very convenient places, because usually Storm wants those straight-on basics, but you can't really do that as conveniently with the debuffs as a threat. I really do wish we had at least a couple more Arc players to get more matchup opinions from, because it's... And I mean, Mega Blues might be right, who knows? Anyone could be right, but I really don't think Arc loses every matchup. So, I kind of just have to use my own judgment in these cases.
Alright, but Illy's dancing around quite a bit. And I don't know, as long as Illy manages to survive, I feel like Arc's offense will do its job here.
Yeah, the wide can be kind of difficult at times for Storm to maneuver through because it's not a consistent move by any stretch of the imagination. And some of these debuffs, you saw quite a bit of them be lies. Yeah, it's a rough situation for QP. Just 6 debuffs in the corner.
Oh!
But it's the wide, no problem. That's a sad moment for Arc, for sure. Oh, gets the paralyze, but cornered. I imagine a movement inhibiting thing on this character that often bonks anyway is probably really strong. Wow, look at that movement.
What a
Just gets
flash
through the
step.
tiniest gaps.
QB just flawlessly flash steps through clock pressure and hit pressure. Still evens it up though, Illy managing to make it 2-2.
Keeping that pressure on with wide, but not dropping Moon. I think probably should have dropped Moon a lot sooner there. But
Ooh,
What a time stop.
But time stop isn't that good against Storm Beast, and QP's flash step
Well-
was expertly timed.
the initial hit may not be, but I feel like
Oh!
Storm is pretty vulnerable afterwards.
Yeah. Oh,
Especially...
what I meant was that I think Storm has, because of her speed, she's a little more resistant to having she's better at dealing with being debuffed than some other characters.
Yeah, oh, I actually really
Right,
disagree with what
really.
Illy did there. I guess it's fine because of Moon, but generally, at least a Sun, if you're going to get walled in like that, you want to get hit closer to the center as opposed to farther away from the center.
Yeah, so you can't
Yeah.
get reset on and like multiple
Yeah.
walled.
It's something I think is really important for playing against Storm, is you just have to learn when to give up. Similar to like what I said about being prideful about your DS and Sun Hood. If you're going to be hit, just accept it and get hit close to center.
Alright, but once again, QP's looking dominant in the second card. Looks like they're adapting. We'll see. I feel like the third card is the real duel between these two.
I mean, Illy could
Unless
still
Illy
win
wins.
this.
I mean, yeah, but like, it just feels like QP cleans up so much and Illy isn't in like
Nice extended clock by Illy.
mega Illy mode in the second card. Super Illy
that-
Death Rocket.
Mega
Stand
Illy,
up
when
above.
Illy becomes a lot larger than usual and starts fat fingering the buttons, but in a good way.
Yeah, QB
Right.
standing in really unfortunate positions. Like, these moons have covered as much area as is possible, but just doesn't matter. Manages to take the card anyway. I'm really not sure if this is one of those matchups as Arcanist where you're supposed to camp or not. Because I'm of the opinion that it's probably good to camp in most matchups, but I'm not sure about this one.
Yeah, it's
I'd
like
have to ask other
if you're
players.
too passive, you'll get walled, and then
Yeah.
bled out pretty much. Illy really went for that clock, but let go to not get hit, and now QP trying to set up a wall a little bit, trying to transition the vertical wall into a horizontal one.
If you go back and watch the qualifier that QB won against Wild LT, this sort of strategy was very common in there. I actually commented on it way too much. It's one of my greatest commentary regrets.
Okay, well, and the game is falling out into wideception.
All right, well, ooh, that was like the 1/8 bullet of Arc Basic gets the hit there. Wow.
Ooh.
I can't believe Illy's getting these hits right before. Just needs one more hit to get a 2-0 lead in the first set of grand finals. The only one Illy needs to win.
Oh yeah, I forgot Illy actually won that first set because it looked so bad at first.
That was a tight spot for Illy. I'm surprised QP didn't use Charge Basic
Yeah.
there.
With Confuse up, Storm can't do anything.
Oh,
That was
I
a weak
didn't
spot.
realize Confuse was up.
Yeah, Storm was confused.
Now Illy with a 2-0 lead. QP on the ropes. Illy not declaring a character, just declaring character select.
Yeah, I think Confuse is like maybe the most hot or cold debuff. Some characters don't care about it at all. Like Hood barely cares. It's almost a buff. But then characters like Storm and Frost get utterly destroyed by Confuse. It's so devastating.
I think Game is right here. Do melee tap basic while confused? So true. They'll try to dodge it and get hit by it. 50-50. Depends on where the confuse is.
Game Freak appears to have a very optimistic view of Arc, thinking Arc only loses 2 matchups.
Right, but potential final game. It is
Right, going into the red.
the Green Hood and QP on the Yellow Storm Beast.
Yep, back to the good old Pikachu color. Ooh. Yeah, this is a matchup that we finally have a matchup where there's not a character on screen that I play, but I guess that was true last time too. QP, I think, could play this really aggressively, but knowing their play style, probably will not choose to do so. Just going for walls. It still amazes me to this day that QP is a keyboard player.
How do you play Storm on keyboard?
I don't know, to all those in the chat that maybe didn't know that, QP is a keyboard player.
Right, but first card looking even so far, but QP's gonna have to not bonk. Because when all those wides are on screen, it will happen.
Yeah, that's part. I mean, I personally don't think this is the worst matchup for Hood. Of the Hood matchups that there are, I think this one is like not that bad, because you can just force Storm to play good, and if there's ever a mistake, you probably will get a hit. And then at late game, like charged, basic right at Storm isn't the worst. We'll force the micro. Yeah, and you're pretty fast. If you time your movement well to when there's no wide, you can like get around the setups decently well. Looks like QP was transitioning a bit into Tap Storm, but decides to go back to walling. And 2 hearts left before Illy wins this tournament, right?
Yep, and I think a reason why I think Illy Hood is so strangely dominant is because when you're playing Hood, it's kind of like, do you dodge better or does the opponent dodge better? And well, it's Illy.
Yeah, I think Illy's playstyle suits Hood and Sun very well for similar reasons.
That just needs one hit, has 3 hearts to work with. And QP.
Yeah, it looks like QP not able to establish a good screen position.
That is it. Illy takes it 3-0.
I did not commentate
you.
much there, but excellent job by Illy. Winning against QP with 3 different characters, including Depth Secret, which I failed to do. Good job, Illy.
Except we have to DQ Illy for not declaring character.
Oh, wow.
Illy declared character select.
Very well played, Illy. Good job winning the return of Stargazers. So you gonna keep hosting these, or is this a one-time deal, Saya?
It depends. The time might be different.
You did get one of the biggest tournaments in a while. Oh, do you want to watch this?
I'll just have it as background while I get Illy in here.
Yeah. So are you not actually... Okay, we'll discuss that later. Illy, congratulations!
Hello, thanks. What's up, guys?
So true. How was it?
The tournament?
Yeah.
It was fun. Versus QP is kind of stressful.
Hmm.
So you managed to win with depth. How was that?
I was not expecting to win. I think they keeping needs time to adjust, so I just made sure to switch like immediately.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking earlier when Horai picked depth that is one of the worst matchups in the game, and you just proved us wrong.
Uh, it's probably bad. I usually don't really win as depth or storm.
Yeah, so you definitely gave us a tour of various characters, which I'm sure we all appreciate. I particularly enjoyed watching your worm set against QP. I think it was quite an educational set. And I liked a lot of what you were doing, especially like the Novi fires. Both the defensive and offensive Novi fires were very well timed.
Thanks, yeah. Sometimes I feel sometimes I feel like I just need to like after you press DS, it's hard to tell where Worm's next attack is going to go. So like you have to, if you're standing close to Worm and she just pressed DS, it's hard to tell where her ride's going for some reason. I'm not really sure why.
Yeah, there was one particular moment when you DS'd while you were getting walled and everything just moved past you in this perfect way.
Oh yeah, I remember. I was kind of surprised I survived that, to be honest.
It was very well played. So anyone else have questions for Illy?
Oh, I have a question. You know Horai's last Maiden and Spell tournament?
Yeah.
Was that like full power Illy or was that trackpad Illy?
I was not on trackpad, but I abstain from answering.
Okay. Well, at least we know that it wasn't trackpad.
If I'm on trackpad, you see like the game's lagging. Like there's gonna be dots on the screen like every few seconds.
Oh, and the trackpad war cry.
Yeah, it's a war crime.
Oh, I said war cry, the battle cry, where you move back and forth really fast
yeah,
at
true.
supersonic speeds.
True.
Were you at full power that day, though?
Was that at full power? I don't know.
Oh, fair enough.
Mega Blue saying
I should have
plus
betted
arc.
more points on Illy.
You didn't have faith in the greatest of all time?
Oh, I did have faith. I just didn't realize how many points were being put into it. I should have bet more so I would have gained more.
Someone told someone told me that someone bet against me. I was like okay, just they gave me the power to win.
Wow.
You know, Illy, I would never bet against you. In fact, you're the only time I ever bet. I only ever bet on matches that you're in and bet in your favor.
What? Max is such a coward.
I'm not a coward. I just know how to make my money.
That's true. Max is smart. Max is very good at managing the finances of imaginary bestie bucks.
Soon Max will be a VIP on this stream.
So true.
I think I'm already a mod, right?
Yeah,
That's
but
the
you need to
joke.
earn
That's the
VIP.
joke.
I'm considering starting streaming more regularly for Omega Strikers. We'll see.
Yep. Let's see. What else? Do I plan to do these regularly? Well, Mega Strikers is around the corner, so this will probably be... If I do Maiden and Spell stuff, it'll be on very different days, I think. Like, maybe weekdays. Maybe Sunday. Maybe Friday. Maybe, like, randomly Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, for the next few months, it really won't matter for me. I can be any day.
What else is there to say?
You said you were more excited for Duelist of Eden. Did the new beta disimpress you that much?
No, it's not that my opinion of Mega Strikers has gone down. It's that Duelist of Eden reminded me of why I love single-player game tournaments so much. And
Oh, you
also-
mean not a team game?
Yeah, and also like Duelist of Eden is just incredibly well managed, I think. Like completely independent from the gameplay, I think the people behind it are like really doing well.
Oh, there's Invisible Clone. Did anybody else see Invisible Clone?
Oh, let me see.
It's
I
gone
wasn't
now. It was
paying
only there for
attention.
a few seconds, but it's gone now.
Well, it's on stream, so if it was on stream, we can look back.
Oh, and yeah, the I unfortunately Duelist of Eden beta was during one of my very busy times, so I didn't get to play beyond the tutorial. But I'd love to give it another try at some point.
Yep. And
The card thing seemed weird though.
kind of funny because Illy got access to the alpha.
Oh yeah.
How?
Random key drop. Simply was better
No,
at the
no.
skill of luck.
Yeah.
Outskilled everyone in the chat.
Yeah.
What else is there? Main and spell related. I don't know what to say main and spell related. It's been 5 months.
Do you think I should keep trying to learn depth or just play Sun? Really?
Whatever's fun. Honestly, whatever you have fun with.
I see.
It might be a like cop out answer, but
I feel like a noob when I play depth in all non-lich matchups. It's like I have to relearn everything.
yeah, it's hard. Like you have to if you don't know like when you're safe to press things or not, then you just get like you get destroyed by people who you would like normally be on your like on any other character. Like
The Sun and depth are about as different as two characters can be. Their philosophies of play are so opposed to each other. It's hard to adjust to.
yeah, that you have to be like really careful with like I think the best way to play depth is like you have to be in try hard mode at all times and like
I always am in
actually
try-hard mode, so
dodge.
that's not an issue for me.
Yeah, but you have to try like I feel like I get kind of you can autopilot a little bit on like other characters. If you start autopiloting on depth, you'll probably start bonking. Like you have to dodge a lot of difficult things
Yeah,
to make it work.
it's been a journey. I think I'm only confident in one matchup so far, and that's the Lich matchup.
As depth.
Yeah,
Makes
that's the
sense.
only one I think I could beat anybody decent in.
Maybe my lich isn't that good against depth.
There's no way I could beat you. Let's be clear. But
We could play sometime. Who knows?
yeah, I'm down. Should be fun. The only person who can help me learn depth so far has been Jay Feather. Nobody else has really offered knowledge.
Alright, since we're winding down, real quick. The tournament was 11 people, 2 hour, like 30-ish minutes. All best of 5. That was fast, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Especially considering how many games went to the 5th one.
True.
But
Wait, Javaro's being sued right now?
anyway, Illy, do you have any
What?
last words? We gotta
Any
end the
last
stream.
Shout out to Mega Blues if you're in chat. Hope you like the Arc gameplay.
What do you mean? What do you mean, Pug? What? Pug? Explain.
That's a, can
Hello?
we get some moderators
Hello,
in here?
Pug?
A bad word.
Please explain, Pug. Explain to the class. Why is the M&S window a sixth of the screen? Because the tournament is over. You missed it.
Wait, what was the result of the best of 5?
There was a best of 5.
Oh,
Oh, there's Invisible Clone again.
I don't see it.
Again. Why is it invisible for me?
skill issue.
Alright, it's back.
Alright, but before we bleed...
Hug your uggle.
Before we bleed all of our viewers, any last words from Horai and Max? Nothing? Something?
Wait, guys,
Well-
thanks for hosting.
Oh,
I meant-
yeah, thanks,
I meant
Saya.
Thanks for hosting, you guys.
Yeah,
And
thank you for
commentating.
hosting, Saya. I'm glad tournaments still happened, even though I can't host right now.
Damn.
Yeah, so I guess something I'll say is, I've talked about it before. I'm not sure, but I've thought about hosting one of those leagues, right? Maybe Saya wants to be involved in that, maybe you don't. But I think what would be cool about a league is it could let people who are maybe not in the best time zones or not as available for long stretches of time play matches anyway, since they don't have to commit to being available for 3 hours in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I think that could work.
I
You know,
think that would be easier for me to do during Omega Strikers time, because also it would also be cooler because then I could like ping everyone to watch like one out of the league matches of that round that's like live, and have
One what?
one out of all the league matches of that week or
Yeah.
something. I don't know, but it's I don't it's complex, because leagues, I don't know, it just has to be done well, and I'm not sure on how exactly it'll work well, because the issue with leagues is that it's hard to like get people in once you start it, unless you do
Well,
like a super fluid.
The way I would do it is it would just be you play each week, and every week there's a winner, and you start over.
I don't know, but
You could have divisions and stuff, so there's something to work towards.
it's something that we should talk about, but we should end stream for real this time. Before, actually, let's ask who won. I want to hear the answer to this. I did.
Game Freak one?
Game Freak
No.
too strong.
Alright, let's go to the regular raid. Let's raid Soku. I have no connection. I have no personal connection to the Soku people, but they have a weekly on Saturday. We have a weekly on Saturday. It lines up. Raid Omega Strikers? No. No smile. No smile.
Is there anyone playing in Omega Strikers?
Oh yeah, we don't really have a weekly. We have a weekly this week. Anyway, even a worsty is so true twice a day, and that includes me. Thanks Meguka for the sub. I didn't say that at the start of the stream. Yeah, that's about it. This might not happen next week. Thanks for tuning in. See ya.
Thanks for
Bye,
hosting.
stream. And it's over. Thanks for letting me on. I wish I could have played, but it was just